Welcome to another episode of the Tuna Gear podcast. This one, we have our first repeat guest, the legend that is Henry Gilbey. Thank you very much for coming in.
Jesus.
You are, though. You are. I said it on the first one. Said it. You are very much so. That's why they've got you in. Well, it has been announced at the Big One show. That's why you get called up for things like that, because people want to hear what you say, what you're doing. You know.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Sorry, that's Aaron just leaving. He's ill, so we've kicked him out the building. Danny's next to me as always. So last time we had you on, we were talking about your health and all those sorts of things. That was really interesting. We're just having a quick chat off camera about how you're still carrying on with the running and you've got the bug really, really badly.
Properly, yeah.
I still don't understand that. I do a bit more like
Nor do I, if it's any help. I don't understand any of it. That knackering yourself out in that. Yeah, I do get it. I think it's good for your brain to do some stuff that is incredibly hard and challenging. Good for your fishing.
It's good for your fishing. It's good for all sorts of stuff, isn't it? It's like Joe Rogan says, it's fighting your inner bitch. When you don't want to do something and your body's going, let's just sit on the sofa.
I just call it the fear.
The fear.
The fear of not doing it. If I don't do it, I'm screwed. On so many levels. It's the fear. This little bastard on my shoulder. He's like that at me. He or she is like that at me all the time. Go and do it. I mean, I'm trying not, if something's going to get us, obviously, I'm trying not to die of a heart attack if I can. And something else is going to get me, I know. So the fitter I am, the better it is for that. It helps me lose weight, keep weight off, and it's good for my fishing. We like this kind of fishing. I like wandering miles. Yeah. The fact that we live on a small island with a lot of people, far too many people. If you want to find, I'm not saying better bass fishing, if you want to find quiet spots, you've got to yomp it. You've got to walk it. And I've always got rucksack, camera gear. I've always got camera gear. So I've got a heavier stuff than most people. There's enough of me to carry around anyway.
How many kilos do you reckon you're carrying when you're going out fishing? You ever weighed your kit?
I weigh it. I mean, I've weighed it at airports, when you have to sort of blag it under. Blag it as hand luggage.
You're trying to wedge it in that bag on EasyJet.
When you walk away from the desk, you sort of just go like this, onto your shoulder, like 20 kilos of camera gear, onto your shoulder, trying not to notice. Look, I just want to do it as long as I can. I really want to do this fishing for as long as I physically can, and the fitter I am, the easier it is, and the more I can push. So why not?
Do you know how much distance you actually do when you're out fishing? Do you ever do like they do those
distance trackers?
Yeah, the distance trackers, and it tells you.
I don't, because your steps are screwed anyway because you're casting and retrieving. I don't, but I mean. But I often go fishing and then go running afterwards because it's good for me like that. Or go running before and then I go, I couldn't when I started, but now not easily. I'll run a 10K, not very fast, obviously. Run a 10K, get back, have a shower, whatever, and go fishing because it's good for you to just keep going, isn't it?
That's impressive.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
I've got the bug, and it's just, like I said, this little thing on my shoulder, just get at it.
Are you fighting that thing on your shoulder all the time to sit down and not do it, or is it that thing on your shoulder telling you to go and do it, or is it?
Oh no! Now I've got this freaking hamstring issue that's doing me in. When it's taken away from you, like I didn't run for 2 weeks. I destroyed it on Christmas Day. It was really bad. Didn't run for 2 weeks, and it is just crucified me. When it's taken away, you want to do it even more, and you actually start building up in your head that it's actually far more enjoyable than it actually is, because running's not that fun, is it? I mean, it's nice. I like doing it, but it's hard. But when it's taken away from you, this mentally you build up. And it's, oh my God, it's amazing. And then the first run when I could go, it felt incredible. I mean, I'm not, if you look at me running, it's like a freaking crippled giraffe. Mate, you're not going to go, oh my God, he's a natural. It's
what like bang. Stud.
Yeah, it's like bang, bang, bang. Got my headband on with this, that,
I wear my headband when I play squash.
I always wear my headband because my hair gets loose.
Oh no, I've got the problem. I just sweat a ridiculous amount.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
When you're trying to play squash, I'm permanently trying to sweat stings when it hits your eyes as well.
In the gym, I do this heart rehab session once a week. there's a bunch of us, like, all had heart attacks, and we've got these white sheets, and we work off them. But the stairs machine, it's actually embarrassing. I have to make sure no one's looking, because I just sweat. Obviously, I bump the numbers up, and there's sweat pouring onto the machine, looking around going, it's just embarrassing.
Yeah,
obviously, I wipe it down, but it's just, it is.
I've seen the Tate brothers. They've got this stair machine set up in their bunker over in Romania, and every morning they get up and they have a challenge who can set the new record. And they are on this thing, and like these guys are like 6'4", they're all ripped, and it's pouring off of them.
It's brutal,
and they're trying to. It was like the equivalent of walking to the top of the trade towers or something.
I just think cliffs. When I'm doing it, I'm thinking walking up the cliffs. That's how it keeps me going. Isn't it? Like, the faster I can do it, the more cliffs I can get up with fishing, and the more ground I can cover.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I've got
are you noticing that now when you're going out?
Oh God, I noticed within 3 weeks, I reckon, of starting Couch to 5K a couple of years ago. I noticed how much easier it was getting up the cliffs.
Really?
100%. Yeah, I was just like, is this real? And then you started to get a bit, you started to push it a bit. Slow, just chill out here, But yeah, 100%.
It's amazing how quick the body sort of recoups itself.
Yeah, I'm not meant to be a runner. I mean, look at me. I'm not a freaking.
Yeah, I'm not meant to.
I'm not a gazelle. I'm many miles away from it. But, and I am 52 next month. It proves, that you can get your body, if you're lucky enough to have a bit of health or whatever, you can get your body to do things that you didn't think were possible. I never thought I'd actively sort of want to go and run a 10K. I was desperate to try and run a half marathon before Christmas. On my own, obviously. I ran a 16K in the summer, and I was desperate. My hamstring, I couldn't do it. I was going to take myself off on the Camel Trail.
It's 12 miles. Half marathon, 12, what's a marathon?
13 miles or something?
Yeah, 20, marathon.
I could do it. I mean, I'm fit enough to do it, but I just can't do it on my leg at the moment.
I think never do the London Marathon.
In waders.
Yeah. But in neoprene waders. Oh, God, can you imagine? Look, I'm going to say no, but never say never.
Never say never.
I said it on the last one. I mean,
you're not doing the marathon, mate. You never said anything about that.
I did 2 yesterday, mate. Yeah. I said on the last one, you are, and this is a compliment. You're a different being to when I first met you.
Yeah, and I feel different.
And that's such a good thing.
I'm just trying to stick around if I can.
Yeah.
I quite like life.
Yeah,
it's a wicked thing, isn't it?
Life's amazing.
Yeah,
you can't take it for granted.
And how do you? I mean, that kind of ties in really nicely to kind of what we're going to do with these sort of podcasts. Have you found that with obviously health scares, the wanting you to be a bit more active, enabling you to push a little bit further? Have you found that you've adjusted your carrying luggage, fishing gear, clothing more to adapt to make that journey easier as well? Not talking about fishing rods, about as in your wear. Because
look, I've always worn tights.
Yeah.
Before running and off, I joke inside it.
Oh, we know you're a fashion icon.
Jesus, I mean, just look.
Well on point, mate.
But I've worn breathable chest waders. I was probably the first person in UK saltwater fishing to wear them because of working with Nick Hart, fly fishing wise. And I thought, hang on, these make sense for photography and fishing. I used to walk into the water. I remember I was up the Bristol Channel walking into the water to land these fish. You see these people going, he's some twat, that bloke. But, they didn't know what they were.
They didn't know what they were, yeah.
So I very quickly found out that if you wear jeans or heavy, cotton trackies, you're going to sweat like the proverbial under waders. So for many, many moons, I have worn tights, Under
Armours.
Running style leggings.
Compression leggings is what I wear,
And I wear, thinner ones in the summer and thicker ones in the winter, but they're incredibly easy to wear. And I wear a sort of compression top, because I'm so not buff. But I just find this gear incredibly comfortable to wear. And then you just layer up, don't you?
Yeah.
I think, but gear's so efficient now. Back in the day, God, you imagine remember those, remember flotation suits?
Yeah.
Remember the woolly bear suits trying to keep warm? I mean,
we still sell them in our shop because there's an element of some of the anglers that still use that.
You've got to keep warm if you're static. I accept that. But I remember the first flotation suit I bought, I got a deal because it was one size too small. And I'd kneel down. I always remember kneeling down to bait up, and it would cut me at the neck, so you couldn't breathe properly. So you have to bait up really quickly because you couldn't breathe, and then get back to fishing. And now
is that fun? Can you hear that thunder?
I don't know if it's thunder or something moving.
I reckon it's thunder.
Yeah, because the weather's for the listeners. I mean, the weather is atrocious today, so it got soaked.
It's vile. So look, I mean, I think lure fishing wise, anyway, we adapt what we. You want to be mobile. don't you? You're always casting, you're always moving, you're always doing something.
The fashion side of it comes in as well. Guys want...
Not for me.
Not for you.
Categorically
it becomes like...
I genuinely don't care.
The kart fishing world moved across into that kart fishing streetwear sort of stuff where lads can wear it all the time. And the lads that are out, like when I see you boys in your waders and your jackets, you and Tricky and all this stuff...
Yeah.
Lads want those labels in those certain look things now, don't they?
We can take that back. You mentioned Nick Hart. And I remember working with Nick Hart years ago, doing stuff with him and Lewis.
Yeah.
Now, I remember a very key point, and it was when I was introduced to Costa glasses and a different change, and it was actually Vision at the time. Now, you guys were Hardy Greys, I think, at the time, but we sold a lot of Vision. And Vision were very much at that forefront. And I remember a comment that Nick made once, and it always stuck with me. And it's fucking true. And I think those guys back then, we're talking, 2006, 2007?
Yeah.
A long time ago, where he said he wanted to make the fly fisherman look cooler, a bit different from the traditional tweed.
Of course,
but that's where, like, the River Waders, the nice Patagonia coats, the jackets, the slightly more ultra... fitted and formed gear for that fishing, the River Waders, the rucksacks, the luggage, the fly vests, and that. Before that, if you only had to go back a few more years, and it was still a satchel and a wax coat and a
100%.
So that changed, and although it isn't, like you said, it's not about fashion. There is an element of it is a look. But it's not a look because we want to look good. It's that industry was the pioneer. I feel the game industry was the pioneer of of going with that, and we still get today. I mean, I see it on Facebook all the time. Oh, I want to buy some waders, and there's still an element of lots of people still buying fly industry, waders, the game industry. Yeah,
we're nicking their wading jackets a lot of the time.
Yeah, because they do it better. They do.
Yeah, because we don't have a. I don't think anyone's going to really come out and say I am making waders purely for saltwater fishing because. It's going to be a problem. Waders aren't really designed for what we're putting them through.
No, and I've often said that because, and you'll be able to relate to this, whether it be rocks or gores or fences. For me, it's thunder, isn't it?
That is thunder.
That's thunder.
Yeah,
Jesus, man.
So what my thing is, so I've always said was, you could have, and this is by no means a reflection on people's gear, and I'm not judging people's gear, but a £1,200 pair of Sims G4s, or a 60 quid pair of Buffalo breathables, a barbed wire fence or a bit of brambles or an oyster shell in the mud doesn't give two fucks. You're still going to slice the knee wide open. It's still, but you can by being involved in that ecosystem.
That easy.
They can, not all of them. Some can. I mean,
barbed wire, they're gone.
Yeah. Oyster shells,
short rocks. Yeah.
Because my experience of waders is vast.
Yeah.
And I used to sit in my vast waders all day, and those things were pretty bomb-proof, but you used to sweat in them.
Yeah.
You were saying about having trackies in there.
The problem I found with
you take them off, and everything was just down.
Well, I know
touch.
back in many, many moons ago, I was doing some stuff with a company, and they were getting wader returns, and a lot of it, to be fair, wasn't the wader leaking. It was because anglers were wearing jeans, and you sweat very badly, and you think they're leaking. They're not. It's because you're wearing. Now, I'm not saying breathable waders. You don't shift all. How can a pair of waders? I suppose they are in some respects. They probably are breathable, but they're not like a sort of Gore-Tex jacket as such because the salt water clogs the pores up and stuff. But they're still. I still suggest you want to try and wear stuff that breathes or pulls moisture away from you underneath them because I just think it's far more comfortable.
I've also noticed, like you said, the VAS stuff. But I've also noticed, especially the fishing that I do a lot of, like in softer ground or mud, the difference between me having stocking foot waders where I have a tight boot that is laced tight to my feet, it can't move, to a welly when you're pulling your feet out. And I've seen it many a times, people wearing boot foot, old style, latex style waders where they're in the mud, it suctions their foot in, they pull the foot out, they step out of the welly, then fall over. Yeah. Whereas what we're wearing on the rocks is no different to effectively heavy duty walking boots.
Yeah. Because they are. I mean, my best starred boots, or those Patagonia boots I'm using at the moment, they're basically just walking boots designed for use in water.
And that's I guess a progression of the gear. And do you find that? I mean, I know recently you've posted about waist waders and stuff.
Yeah.
Is that, does it, because obviously I don't necessarily feel that all the time. Like if there's some locations on the rocks where waders are handy, you don't want to get drowned at the time. But is that a mobility kind of an ease thing?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised how little information there is about waist waders because First off, they're safer. You know, I've done all the, I've
100%,
done all the testing with the RNLI. You know, I've actually been in, not their testing pool, well, I have, the testing tank in pool, but I've been in the open ocean, you know, with lifeguards around me, testing this stuff out. And if you end up in the drink, a pair of waist waders, you got a chance. A pair of chest waders in bouncy conditions, it's not going to be easy getting out.
I had a friend that fell years ago, horrifying, and how he survived, I don't know, but got washed in off of Portland once in full chesties.
I come out of a boat in chest waders on a lake, carp fishing. Yeah. Went to the other side of the boat, it was a tiny little thing, and I just went over the side of it in like February, March, and those things just suck straight to you. But I was 10 foot from the bank and just went banzai trying to get to the bank. But you've got real problems. They sound like bombs being dropped.
That thunder is something else.
It's really bad, yeah.
Yeah, the waders is a whole. You could spend 10 podcasts on it. I mean, there's a whole subject on its own.
So what's your go-to? What do you wear?
I tend to wear, you know, breathable waist waders. I call them BCWs.
Have you got a mate
breathable chest waders? I love Vision. Yeah. Vision are very, very good. Savage Gear have got some good waders. Really good, actually.
I've heard the newer ones. I acquired, and I've heard some real good.
I've hammered them from day one samples. They're really, really good. They're not cheap, but they're really good.
What's the entry price on those? Or what is the price on those?
The SG8 ones aren't cheap. If I said 350 quid, I'm guessing. But you can't. These kinetic ones, very good. Yeah. There's a 200, like 190 quid pair of Grays ones. Look, there are many arguments with waders. You know, you can't get away from it. I mean, the Sims waders. I don't know Patagonia. Sims waders are incredibly comfortable to wear. I've had 2 or 3 pairs, but I trashed my first pair within inside 8 months, and they said that was normal for amount of use. I put them through, and they were not cheap. Now, I did a deal. They wanted to buy some photographs, so I said I'd rather do a deal for waders and boots, and we can do a trade with photographs.
Because you can spend megabucks.
Oh, yeah. And they are, you can't go away from them. They are unbelievably comfortable. I don't know what they do is magic fairy dust. They're very comfortable, but they're not going to last you any long. So I think there's many different ways of going about it, but I'm increasingly drawn to sort of, you know, if money's no object, buy Sims, and if I get a year out of a pair of waders, BCWs, breathable chest waders, if I get a year, I think that's brilliant. I'm out a lot.
How many times a week
don't know.
are those getting used?
I don't know, but it's a lot. It can be a lot sometimes, but I'm photographing, I'm travelling, I'm fishing, I'm walking. You know, I walk further than most people probably. So either spend a hideous amount of money, or to me they are they are an expendable item. Just either wear them. Jeez, that rain. Wear them or don't wear them. I don't really care. I wear them. I can't do without them. So I think you're almost arguably better off buying a 200 quid pair, 180 quid pair, trashing them, and just getting a new pair. You know, if you don't like that, then just don't wear them.
I went down the route of, I love Vision waders. Always have
Vision
done.
are brilliant.
And so I've gone down, not going down Scout 2s, 700 quid pairs. I'm going to like Zippy Koskis, 300 quid max, 250. Because, like you, I buy that knowing that it's probably not going to last me 12 months before I've got to repair them.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's just not consumable, it's the wrong word, but for me, I don't buy them thinking, I've got to look after these, they're going to last me years. I know if I get 12 months out of them.
You're going to be going on a boat.
That is proper rain.
Yeah, that is proper rain.
Yeah.
It was coming though. We knew it was coming. Yeah. It always takes you by storm though. When it comes in like that, it's.
What you needed to be is a good pair of waders for this.
Waders. Yeah, you've got. I can do them getting back to my car. No, look, I'm not saying everyone's got to wear them. I like them. I've messed around with these neoprenes, which I think would be really handy, neoprene leggings and stuff. But actually, it works very well. But I find it's a pain because at the end of the session, you've got so much stuff to dry out. I'd almost I'm going to Portugal in just over a week. Going to do some bass fishing out there, and I'm going to wear
Portugal. You go
southwest, staying in Sagres, and I'll wear waist waders because it's just easy.
You played around a little bit. Sorry to backtrack a bit, but you also played around with stuff like canyoneering and the kayaking world gear, didn't we? Like palms and stuff like that. You've done a bit with that as well.
Yeah, obviously, the neoprene leggings. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, they're really good. I just don't like being wet.
Yeah.
Firstly, but I can be. There's no great shakes. You don't actually get cold, but it's just you've got socks, you've got leggings, you've got shorts, you've got this, you've got that. There's like 4 or 5 items of gear to dry out, and so my waders, all I do is I just turn them inside out, get rid of any sweat or moisture, and that's it, done at the end of the session, unless they're leaking. So I'm quite surprised that more anglers don't wear waist waders because they're generally a little bit cheaper. They're incredibly easy to move around in. They're like a pair of trousers just with waterproof socks on.
Glorified waterproof trousers.
Yeah. And they are, I mean, again, they're not cheap, and you're going to trash them on barbed wire or sharp rocks or oysters. But, how many times do you go in? I mean, there's a few marks I need to go deep to get to certain whatever.
Yeah, I said that. Mine, when I go deep, it's travelling to the...
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to fish
deep, no.
at that because you just get waves coming over the top of the time, all the time. So, you don't need... Chest waders are really handy. You slip them on, you're waterproof. But do you need that level all the time? Waist waders, they're brilliant, especially for like more mobile stuff around the rocks. They're great. I'll wear them for a week in Portugal. So it'd be great.
What about jackets then? Upper body.
I've tried everything.
Yeah,
I have tried literally everything from hiking jackets which don't work because any metal. Well, they do work, but any metal rusts up on the zip. I've tried every wading jacket there probably is, literally. I've tried, like canyoneering, kayaking, like cags and stuff.
Yeah, I've got a Guy Cotton one, and it's nice, but I can't stand the fucking the jacket. I don't like the neck.
The Guy Cotton, there's 2 of them. They're really good. The neck designs are appalling.
Yeah. I like the cuffs. I like the waist. I like the fit.
Why they can't?
Has it got like neoprene cuffs in neck on it?
Yeah, but it doesn't stop water getting up. I don't care what anyone says. You're going to get wet sleeves. Just wear sweatbands and secure your wrist over them. Then you get dry.
Yeah, the fit underwaders or overwaders. That Guy Cotton one that I wear a little bit of. I love it, but I can't get away from the fucking neck. It does me.
But I do prefer a jacket.
Yeah,
I just like that zip being really boring.
Vision V. I wear a black Vision V jacket, and again,
really good.
Back to the game industry. I waterproof it every 6 months. I've got a spray.
That jacket is outstanding. And also, look, I know I work with Savage Gear Pure Fishing. And I'm not banging the drum because some of their jackets. Well, some of their jackets I actively don't like. But I've stumbled across, thanks to this lad in Guernsey, Simon. Actually, I was out with him last year. I said, "What's that jacket you're wearing?" I'd never even seen it, and it's called a Savage Gear. I think it's a W. Is it Performance WP jacket or something?
Yeah, I mean,
it's about 140 quid, whatever. I got to say, bloody good. It's one of those things that I don't think they realise how good it is.
Is that an olive green colour?
No, it's not. It's like sort of black and it's slightly, for me, it's going to be like it is autumn, winter, spring, slightly colder weather.
That one.
That's it, Savage Gear WP Performance.
134 quid.
I've got to say,
great panelled one.
I'm nothing to do with it. And if Savage Gear sack me tomorrow, I'll go and buy another one because I've worn it now for months. And I've got to say, it's really good.
It's on your blog.
Yeah, I love it. But that's thanks Simon. I mean, I'd never even heard of it. No one ever told me about it.
No. Taking a wave full on.
Yeah, that's that lad Simon. Getting one in the face.
That's over on the Channel Islands, is it?
Yeah, in Guernsey. Yeah, it's a really good jacket. So that's all I've been wearing the last few months.
Yeah.
That Vision one's fantastic. There's a really good Savage Gear one, but they stopped making it. Helpfully, a lighter one, but I can't find it in the catalogue anymore. The Vision stuff's good. It's all. Yeah. It's going to get trashed. I don't care. Salt water kills everything. It doesn't matter how much you spend.
Absolutely.
Your Sims, your first. I remember my first time in Sims up this freaking cliff. Oh my god, this is amazing. But the moment you're in salt water, it starts clogging up the pores. Salt water's a killer. It just trashes.
I treat that Vision Vini twice a year just because of that. It gets damp.
Hose it down and try because you want to get as much use as you can out of it. Yeah. Because they're not cheap.
I also like them the way as well that they've got not just the Vision jacket. There's a few brands that do it. They've got slightly more structured shoulders because I've killed a lot of coats. The rucksack because they leak through the shoulder straps. And I found there's lots of coats that's what I like about that Guy Cotton. I mean, I've worn that on all sorts. Long walking.
Yeah. It's good gear.
Not a drop comes through it. Don't like the fucking neck. There's ways of it. I mean, it's good to have these these options, isn't it? And we're forever learning new options, aren't we?
100%. I like trying stuff. I'm lucky that I have a lot of contacts like you, and people let me try stuff. I can ask and say, would you mind if I tried that? Often doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know,
how does that conversation go? Can I borrow this? Can I give it a go? And you realise the product's just...
I know very quickly, and I just leave it alone. I mean, people.
Do you go back to them and go, look, I'm really sorry, this is...
Yeah. And they won't. They usually don't listen to a word you say, but that's fine.
Right, okay.
I'm not. You know, I've worked with companies. That's different. But people I don't work with, you know, it's nothing to do with me. You always try and give advice, which sounds slightly arrogant, but it's not meant to. But I'm just. I'm of the opinion a lot of gear just isn't tested.
No, I think people see a jacket somewhere.
Oh, it's sprayed in a booth, or it's got some hydrostatic. Figures I don't give a stuff.
It hasn't done 1,000 hours outside of being dragged around.
And you can, I reckon. Look, I've done this long enough now. And I'm not an expert. I don't like experts, but I know how to find faults very, very quickly.
Yeah.
You know, you give me something, and within a week, I can tell you all about it. 100%. I reckon. I mean,
because you know where something rips the quickest. Where something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was trying a product the other day, and I found a fundamental flaw within inside an hour. Fundamental flaw in it, and this product should probably not have gone to market, but that doesn't matter.
Did it go to market?
I'll leave it alone.
Okay,
I'll leave it. But I found a fundamental flaw, but that's because I'm looking for stuff. So people have given me grief in the past because they say, "Oh, your blog, you review stuff that you like." Well, of course I do. Because I don't get paid to review items. You know, everyone thinks that Savage Gear pays me to review. Most of them don't even know that I do a blog. I do my blog because I wake up early and I've got to empty the contents of my head. I was going to go freaking mad.
Yeah.
That's how it started. And I really enjoy talking about fish and tackle. You know, I like writing. I just enjoy writing. I enjoy communicating. And people read it as grown-up. People do read it. But I'm not going to write slaggy reviews. I'll say if something's not quite right. But I'm not getting paid for this stuff, so if I get hold of a rod or a jacket or a pair of waders and I don't like them, I'll just leave it alone.
It's better, to say nothing than to say negative things.
Well, I'm not going to fish with a reel I hate for 3 weeks because my fishing time is precious. You know, I'm not a paid reviewer.
No.
You know, I do it because, you know, no one at Savage Gear or Proof, they've never asked me to review anything. And if they did, I'd say no. I'd do a review I want to review. Whether it's Savage Gear.
That's more organic. It's more organic and it's more.
Well, it's trustful.
Real
Hopefully people
people
trust me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so yes, I review stuff generally that I like because to put the time in to work to put the time in to sort of like gain the understanding to do the review. It's only ever my opinion. You've got to spend time with the gear. So I don't want to fish with stuff I hate. I'd rather just I don't like it. Just thank you very much. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Or that.
Does some of it not even make out of the house? You get a reel and you just go, no.
No, I'll always go and fish for something.
Okay. Give it the benefit of the doubt. Even if you look at something and go, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, I'll always go and... Because I don't like carrying 2 rods, for example, but I often will because I want to compare something or I want to get photographs or...
One of the ones that I always got me in and kind of on that terms there was... And I found so many companies do it and... we may have spoke about this years ago, are wading boot companies that make fucking vented boots with holes, and when we're in sand and gravel, the gravel gets in it and then rubs your feet and wears out the bottom of the waders.
So
boils my piss.
Classic example, a pair of wading boots, they're not cheap, they're unbelievably comfortable. I won't say what they are because it doesn't matter, because maybe I'm the only person who had them. Gorgeous, stunning. But a problem they never would have found unless Henry thrashed it. It's on the market, all that stuff. But I found that the lining inside the boot was filling up with sand behind the lining, and I couldn't get it out unless I cut it. So I'm literally going for just more and more sand, so I couldn't wear the boots.
Getting heavier and heavier boots.
Yeah, and they're not. You can't hose it out because there's a lining in the boot. It's got in behind, so I can't wear the boots. So I just left them alone.
Did you give them the feedback?
Yeah.
Do they not listen?
No.
I have a set that does very similar to that, and I'm not going to say anything, but they're a fucking big brand.
Yeah.
And they make serious gear.
Yeah.
And like, don't get for some people, it may be, but in our situation, what we're doing is, I know the terrain, what we're in, sometimes is a bit different.
Yeah.
But there's times where you're like, it's almost unwearable on their feet sometimes because you get a bit of grit in there or a stone in there, and it's just but also it's damaging. I mean, my waders are a couple £100 to £600-700 on some of them, and you get a rock in there that then it carves holes in the bottom of your boot foot waders and just.
Well, but then also, Steve, sorry, you've said something there. You've hit upon a problem where I feel for the companies, because you can make the best gear in the world, but if that angler then doesn't wash his or her boots out, then, and I know this because I don't probably pay for most of my fishing tackle. I mean, I work in fishing. I don't need free gear. It doesn't pay any bills, but I'm interested in gear. So talk about wading boots. I religiously wash my gear down. I wash my hooks, my lures, my waders, my wading boots. I feel it's the right thing to do.
So saltwater just eats it alive, whatever it is.
So
we do it on the boat. We wash everything down when we come in.
Kills it. So anything that I'm sort of testing or evaluating, I'm going on the basis that I'm washing it down and to see what it does. Now I know lots of anglers who don't, and I've got a mate, very good mate, who always trashes his waders on the neoprene socks. I said, well, why don't you wash your wading boots out? I can't be asked. Well, the sand is trashing your wading boots. You're having to buy new ones. I can't be asked. But so it's not a fair representation. You know that sand is going to trash. You keep walking on that sand. It's like sandpaper, isn't it? So it's going to put holes in your neoprene socks.
Especially if you're walking distances,
I can avoid that because I wash my gear down. Yeah. If you leave grit, it's really boring, but if you leave grit in your wading boots, you put them back on, you keep walking, you're going to end up with holes. Waders aren't cheap. Even 180 quid is a lot of money. I can go and buy a pair of waders for 180 quid. I might get a while out of them. Why don't I try and get longer?
By looking after you.
So I don't. Maybe I don't pay for those waders, but I can be asked when I get home to hose my gear down because I want to last as long as possible.
Yeah.
Like my reels or my rods or my lures. I know it's a problem that's going to happen. So why not?
I've come from both sides now. So never used to wash my kit down. It'll go straight back in the boat. I got all my kit out for the start of the season. The rollers wouldn't go. Rollers wouldn't move.
Yeah.
Dave Mordecai gave me the biggest telling off ever. Took it all back to his house. Next thing, I get a video of him in the shower with my rods and reels cleaning them all. I'll show you it. It's a pretty funny video. But he went through everything. He had to strip all my rollers down, stripped all my reels down, cleaned everything up. He was like, "There's dried salt between your reel and your rod. You've never even taken them off."
Yeah.
Now when we come in from fishing, first thing, hose comes out, everything gets lined up
straight on the pontoons, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even like the Tuna Gear bags all get laid out. Everything just gets an absolute
you want it to last.
Of fresh water.
I want my gear to, whether it's free, whether you pay for it, it doesn't really matter. I want it to last.
I've noticed that a lot, and you kind of touched on then about people.
I was lazy. That's what it was.
Will moan about gear.
It's easy just to chuck it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course it is. It's easy.
Yeah,
you see a lot online of people moaning that their gear's failed or there's something wrong with it. But there is, not all the time, but there are elements of time I see it on, I'll say Facebook, for instance, that it's not misuse, but you're right. If it was just a little bit more looked after and used more appropriately and cared for, it will last longer. And I've seen people slag brands off or moan about gear that is purely down to because it's not. It's had that mentality of it's just tall, but if things will last longer.
Some gear is flawed. Of course it is. There are flaws, there are flaws in my iPhone. Things that annoy me. I mean, I'm not going to tell, I'm not an iPhone designer. So there are flaws. I accept that things go wrong, but I have a hunch. I've always had, there's a lot more gear fails because angler error. I mean, the classic one is rods. When would an angler firstly ever admit to snapping a rod?
We snapped one. Dave Mordecai snapped one on Wednesday out on the boat.
Was it his fault?
Oh, 100%. He hooked the bottom and he's going like this.
There you go. Yeah.
And it just went. It was an older major craft.
Oh, it's sort of power jig rod. Yeah. Sort of post about it. Yeah.
And he's got it like that, and he's just holding it, and it's just gone Dink.
So did he admit to it?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So,
we're all laughing about it.
He is in the extreme minority because you see, the problem.
I clipped my lure on and the wind caught it and it snaps.
I mean, social media is brilliant. I mean, social media for fishing can be brilliant, but it also, how many anglers you see saying this is rubbish, that rod's rubbish, this is rubbish because I broke it. Well, a rod can break. I mean, there can be quality control issues, there can be flaws, whatever. But I'm in a different position to most anglers in that I am very often behind a camera. I have photographed anglers all around the world doing all kinds of fishing, landing all kinds of fish that most anglers will never get to see. So I get to see an incredible variety of fishing and anglers, how they go about things. Every angler, I'm telling you, and I do it. 9 times out of 10, when an angler lands a bass, they high stick the rod. Because I'm there with a camera half the time, looking at them. They go do high sticking. I don't know if anyone know. It's when the rod goes beyond vertical.
Yeah.
As in, there's okay, like that, goes beyond vertical. If that fish goes, it's gone.
So
it's never ever the anglers. They either know they've done it and they talking rubbish, or they don't know they've done it and it's your rod's full. It ain't the rod's fault. I don't care if it's a £700 Zenak or it's a 50 quid cheap Charlie rod. If you high stick that rod,
we had exactly that. So I was crewing on Fortuna, the tail end of last season. And these are paying customers, so we're doing some top water stuff. And he high sticked that rod. And Mark was the fish was like it was up, and Mark was like the mouth was open. You're high sticking it. The guy doesn't know what he's doing.
No.
And that thing just went, and that was a £400-500 popping rod. Snap, gone.
But also tuna very different. We don't have big fish. We have awesome fish, pike aside.
But the rod that you're using, that you're high sticking for those bass was when that would have broken because of the high sticking that size of that bass anyway. And those popping rods did the same thing.
But it's another thing. Anglers don't. I could do a podcast on this. It's one of my bugbears about fighting fish and drag settings on reels. I mean. I love bass. They're my favourite. They're the finest fish in the world. So I'm not slagging bass before anyone gives me jip. I love bass, but they're bass.
What's your bugbear with the drag? I'm interested now.
Bass don't fight hard.
Bass are awesome. I love them.
Are you locked down?
But we have this obsession with donating line to our fish.
Are you locked up all the time?
As good. It's got to be some fish to take line off me. I'm not being stupid, mind. I'll gauge. If I'm in heavy surf and the fish comes in, I'll slacken my drag off. Because if it goes on a short line, it's going to snap. But, again, I photograph fishing for a big part of my living. It's very, very rare you ever see an angler bending a rod into a fish. They're terrified. I should probably stop and get myself into trouble here.
No, super interesting.
They're terrified when they hook a fish to bend the rod. When you cast, we all larrup a rod. I've got shots, Danny, of anglers, the rod is wrapped around your neck. Why are you so afraid then? So when you wrap that rod around your neck, the line's not breaking, the lead knot's breaking, the leader's not breaking, the lure clip's not breaking, the rod's not breaking, the reel's not breaking. So why then when you hook a fish of 45 centimetres, why are you so terrified to fight it?
So this leads on to some good stuff then. So
sorry, I should probably...
I
can get quite ranty about this.
No, rant away, mate. That's super interesting
Because that's
stuff.
exactly... I love it. I'm
probably too far the other side, but I had my first few fish on creature baits the other day. Fantastic. When I say I gave them the gears, I mean, those fish are water skiing because I want them in. A green fish goes back strong. And when I'm in a green fish, I'm in a fish that hasn't spent 15 minutes taking line off your reel. Green fish go back strong. And I was taught that by South Africans, fly fishing in places like the Seychelles, Zambezi, all this sort of stuff. They fight nobody on this earth. And like I said, I've been around all anglers all over. Nobody on this earth fights fish like South Africans. It is scary. I've seen guys in Namibia hooking sharks on the beach and literally locking off and walking off into the desert and skull dragging that shark out the surf. Now, I'm not saying do that. What I'm saying is we think we fight fish. And I meet lots of anglers, I fight my fish. No, you don't. You play with your fish. You don't fight them.
They call it playing a fish, don't they?
No, I'm not. No, why am I saying this? Because I get around. Because bass are awesome. Like I said, they're my favourite fish in the world. I love them above everything else. But I do believe a lot less bass would be lost if anglers were given the gears, as in fight them. Just stop arsing around, pull them in.
So to do that, because you're fishing locked up, you're obviously...
No, not locked up.
You're not locked up, but you're tightened right down on them.
Hard, yeah.
So,
but gauging, if I'm fishing like I'm trying to discover my inner finesse, I'm not gonna fish so tight. But if I'm in the surf, fishing like 30-pound braid and a 40-pound leader, and I'm fishing a seek or whatever at range, there's no bass in the surf taking line off me.
That's what I was going to go
locked down solid.
So because you are fishing tighter on the drag than most, you're fully confident in the line, like you
100%.
said. So what line are you using and what leaders? Do you mixing that up in different situations?
Yeah, definitely. So
if you've got
but I trust my knots. I trust my braid. I trust my knots.
What braid are you using?
I play around with everything. Berkeley, Sick, Suffolk. If money was no object, and you made me use one braid forevermore, amen, I would use Suffolk 131.
In what size? What poundage is that?
Well,
are you working off diameters?
I don't know. It's braid again. There's something we can't. A whole braid diameter thing's a whole minefield. I mean, it's a freaking.
And every brand is different.
Yeah, every brand's
not
different.
wrong. Different.
I use Berkeley Sick a lot. Okay, Berkeley Sick. I love it in the 36. You think, you don't need 36-pound. It's not 36. They call it 36, but I treat it like a 25, 30-pound braid. I'm not saying you've got to use a 30-pound braid. We haven't got 30-pound fish, but why not? They're so thin.
I use 50-pound braid when we're out there, just because.
Give them the gears.
Yeah, just because I can.
Yeah, and I'm not saying. Look, I'm not advocating skull dragging these fish out of the water, but I've been very lucky. It's not meant as boastful or experty, any of that kind of rubbish. But I've been very lucky to catch 2 double-figure bass from the shore so far. He says, touch wood. I hope I get a few more. Both fish were in current, and both scrapped. But neither fish took a millimetre of line off me because they didn't need to. The drag was set. They needed to, but the first fish was probably in within about 10 seconds. The second fish was in about 10 seconds. 5 seconds.
You're letting that rod do the work.
Oh, this is what I forgot I was going to come back to about the high sticking because we don't have big fish as such. I mean, we have awesome fish. We have awesome fishing. I'd put lure fishing of a bass up against any fishing in the world because it's just the most awesome thing to do. But they're not jacks. They're not tarpon. So we don't. And it's not our fault. It's easy because this all comes back. It's incredibly easy for me to say because I've either done it. I've caught fish off the beach that weigh more than me, and I'm not light. I've caught all these, GTs, jacks, tarpon, threadfin, cabarrus, whatever it may be. I've been very lucky. But I've also worked with anglers who know how to fight fish. So, a South African rock and surf angler has got no choice but to fight fish. They've got these fish called the honeycomb ray. They say you either break that fish within half an hour or you're there for 6 hours. So you've got to, do you want to be sat on a fish for 6 hours? Not really. So you break it. You try and break that fish. So you learn to fight fish hard. So we don't have a history. We don't have a history of having to fight fish hard. So what I'm saying about high stick, people don't understand that a low rod is far more pressure than a high rod. And I do it. I know I'm guilty.
Yeah.
You hook a fish and you look at your rod tip for half an hour. You go, oh, isn't it lovely? Get that rod low.
Do you point that rod at it and just start going through the gears with it?
I don't want to. No. I want to say it occasionally, but I'm just saying it doesn't always happen, obviously, because sometimes you've got to have a high rod to get it around. But a high rod is far less pressure. A low rod and a tight line basically take the rod out of the equation. It's bass, so they're not exactly like speedsters, but you see the guys with the 12 weights on the flats catching GTs on the fly, 12 weight fly gear. The person who does that is going to be there for half an hour. The person who does that will be there for a couple of minutes because they're fighting the fish on the reel. Take the rod, the rod, a 12-weight fly rod's a powerful fly rod, but it's not gonna stop a 60-pound GT dead in its tracks. They're on the reel as fast, and the rod's bent obviously, but it's not bent in a great big curve. It's kind of almost flattened because they're taking the rod out of the equation. They're doing as much on the reel as possible because that's where the strength is. That's in your line on the reel.
Yeah.
The rod is the weak. Now, I know, again, bass are bass. Bass aren't GTs. Bass are awesome. But we do. We have a habit of like that. And then we let them run for 50 yards. I mean, people have told me...
I'm perfectly guilty of doing that.
No, but people have said to me, oh, my God, this bass took 50 yards of line. It can't. And if it is, with the greatest of respect, tighten the drag up. You know that thing on top of your reel, that thing that spins, get it and tighten it up. Sorry, and I know people are going to say, Henry, you're a twat. I accept that.
There's a famous quote you said years
cannot
ago.
take 50 yards of line.
There's a famous quote you said years ago. It was on a TV show. It might be a Facebook where you pointed out, said, the flat spot on the drag is the position to put your pliers on to crank it up.
Now, look, I am exaggerating. I'm exaggerating slightly, but, you know, every situation is different. You know, if you hook a big bass at close quarters, very close quarters, you know, off any rod tip, you know, you've got to have some kind of give because otherwise your line might break. But, you know, I trust my line, I trust my knots, I trust, you know, there's nothing, and, you know, the greatest test, obviously, of what you do trust or not trust, you know, I would argue that an angler doing that, and a fish taking 50 yards of line, they don't trust their gear. Now, I trust my gear. So the biggest test is when you hook your bass of a lifetime, which I've been lucky enough to do twice. How much grief do you give that fish? I gave them proper grief because I wanted them in. So there was not a second of doubt when I was fighting those fish, not a single second, because I trust my gear.
What you were using fluoro leaders?
Yeah.
What's your go-to? Or have you got a few different
£20.
Okay. Do you have a make in particular?
Savage Gear semi-soft, semi-stiff, it's called. The Seaguar, what's the Ace
Hard, blue.
Ace Hard, awesome.
Yeah.
Savage Gear stuff's very good. I've been using now for about a year, the Suffix Advanced Fluoro. Look, I have a thing for Suffix lines, okay?
The YGK DFC was always a good one.
Brilliant, yeah. I'm really, really good, that one, but I used to bin the spool after a year because something happened.
Goes brittle,
yeah, it did. I mean, it's an awesome line, but I definitely, you come to sit and just, hang on.
Yeah.
So bin
it's
it.
something that you need to use.
But it's not expensive,
It's something you need to use a lot of because you have what you end up. Another one that I found was really, really good, and it was fairly cheap. It was one of Sunline's fluorocarbons, but it was like, they're cheaper because I found the more expensive fluorocarbons had more of a fluorocarbon content, which made them brittler. It was one of the real like starter fluorocarbons from Sunlight. I can't remember what it was called, and it came in like 100-meter spool, so there was loads of it. And I used to keep an old DFC spool and then wind off like 50, 60 meters, and then keep the other one out of sunlight because UV can kill it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it was a real cheap one. It was like 12 quid for like 150 meters, whereas like you could spend 25 quid on 50 meters. You know,
it's that Suffix Advanced.
It's really good.
I think it comes. Is it 50 yards pools, 100 yards pools? It's brilliant. I think it only goes up to 20, but I've used it for a year now. I've got 14. If I said 14, maybe 17 and 20, maybe.
Why are you going through the different sizes? Is that through to the conditions you're fishing?
Because I tell myself the fish can see line and clearer water, can they? I don't know.
Mine I have a spool of 16 and a spool of 20-ish.
Yeah.
16 is my creaky sort of stuff, and I go to 20 for open coast. I made longer the leader.
I use 30 in the surf, probably. I don't need 30. It's a nice size to wrap around your hands. You know, if you get amongst a bunch of fish, they might, if let's say they're small fish, just wrap your hand, unhook the fish, and go on. You haven't even got to touch the fish. I'm using single barbless hooks. Just boom, and it's got to wrap your hand quite easy.
Yeah. How long do you make your leader?
That.
Right. Okay.
From my breastbone. Is that your breastbone?
Yeah.
Breastbone to my fingertip. 3 foot.
I've always said a wide shoulder pull. When I get the spool, wide shoulder pull.
I want my knot outside, even though I use the FG knot, I want my knot outside the tip guide.
That's what I was going to ask you next, because one of those knots crackling through those eyes.
It's fine with the FG knot, but you will weaken it, obviously. So I just have the FG.
So you're always using
again, it's bass. Knot. It's not tarpon. It's not GTs on a reef.
Are you tying direct to your lure? Are you using a clip each time?
Clip.
Just clip them on and off.
Yeah.
What is that?
I just can't. I know. I just can't stand retie my fluoro onto a lure every time. It does my nutting.
I'm going through that at the moment with jigging.
I use a lure clip all the time.
Yeah, I like a clip, but after spending some time with Matt Forrester, it's amazing the difference when you're in like dropping down in 200 foot of water, just the diameter of your brain having a clip, how much it's always pushing your jig away. You need it right underneath your tip and it just tracks off. So he's got me in now to tying it on every time. You want to tie it, cut, another one on, another one on.
No, I can't. No, that's not me. I mean, I'm again, bass.
Which clips are you using?
It was those breakaway minute, but this quality got a bit dodgy, so I started using the HTO Tribute.
I've got a HTO.
Is it called HTO Mini Link?
Yeah.
They're like a little snap swivel.
No, they're a stainless version of the breaker, aren't they?
Paperclip style. That's what they're a paperclip style lure clip. On,
yeah,
off.
I know the one. Yeah,
and you can close your eyes in the dark, and I don't have to look at it. It's just on, off, on, off, on, off. Brilliant.
Right. Okay. I know the ones.
Simple. I mean, they just a mate put me onto them in Ireland. I don't know, donkey's years ago. And I play with other clips because I feel I should, but they're brilliant. I've come across these BKK ones recently, thanks to Dave. That are sort of like they're a bit more refined, but they're still a paperclip style clip.
Yeah, isn't it? It's just a tweaked version of that.
On, off,
yeah.
on,
BKK
off.
seems to like they're coming into the tuna world as well. They do.
Well, they've always been there, but just not in the UK.
Yeah, these
They've got
monster
some
circles.
serious gear, BKK.
Yeah, they've got some really good gear, but you can find it on AliExpress ridiculously cheap. I was talking to the size.
Can you?
Yeah. So, and there's a little trick as well. So if you go onto
Don't tell me someone to go spend a load of money.
No. So if you go, I don't know if they're still doing it, but if you go onto AliExpress, not Alibaba, for opening a new account with your email, they were doing like 5 packs of these hooks for £1.50. So we were going on with like 5 different email addresses.
Email addresses,
just bang, loading up stuff. But so I was over.
It makes you feel good. You beat the system.
I was over at Sidewinder, and they were. I don't know if I can talk about it, but they were looking at distributing some of this stuff, and the first thing I said to them was, "Look, it's here. It's everywhere on AliExpress."
Yeah.
But I don't think the fact it's on AliExpress should cheapen that product, because I know a lot of people look at that
BKK
stuff.
is serious. Dave
bollocks,
put me on some weedless jig heads from BKK the other day.
Shadow chasers and stuff like that. Yeah.
What are they called? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they're really.
The bollocks, mate. Yeah, they're really good.
I think it's the monster. So I've been looking at them for putting on.
Oh, some of their singles are freaking serious.
They've got one with a swivel on top of it as well, which I love for live baiting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it gives you stops you that spin on you.
Yeah. It gives you that 360 movement of the fish.
You want to look at some of the Australian, because the Aussies have been on.
Browns look really good.
The Aussie boys have been on BKK for a long time now for their GT fishing up in the Northern Territories. The stuff is amazing.
Yeah,
the fangs, trebles, the singles.
Very serious brand.
Okay.
But then there's lots of good hooks, but the BKK is very good.
Yeah, it's something that's new that's come to me like last year. I didn't realise they were, because we used the Diabolos for putting onto our
the big singles.
Yeah, the big singles like 7.0s and 9.0s for putting onto the poppers in the single lures and things like that. But yeah, they seem to be, because the first time I looked at one of those 7.0s, I was like, that's never going to hold. But after I cast a Savage Gear V2, 175 gram at a tuna and got it to the side of the boat, the hook was fine. I've still got the lure on the end of the rod. Absolutely bone fine.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Got it all the way in. 50, I think it's like a 57-inch fish, 55.
Jesus.
So it's still around the £100 mark.
Yeah.
There's I've got a couple of things on the Facebook page, like to start with, because I've got the Ripple Fisher and the Stella 30,000, and I'm pumping this fish in, and I'm like, this is easy. That was the video I put up on day one.
Suit change.
And I was like, are you ready for day 2? Day 2, I'll show you. Like, I am a broken individual.
It is funny. Yeah,
it made me laugh. That was my first fish on like any sort of like single
spinning gear.
Spinning gear.
Yeah.
And
a friend of mine goes to south of Spain, southern Spain a lot.
So that's how it starts. So that's how it starts, and I'm thinking, like, what's the drama all about here?
Yeah.
Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong. I can do this all day. And then it goes to.
You can see straight away you're in trouble.
We're regretting your life choices
here. It's a whole different ball game. Yeah.
That's only like 5 minutes into the fight.
Yeah.
Look at the face. I've got no spinning strap on, so I've got
raw dog in it.
Yeah, well,
there's a certain look when people are into fish that hurt.
That was the pain locker. That was. So I've got my Black Magic harness on with the board. So I've got the butt in the board, but I've got no strap, and I can clear as day. I was holding on to that rod, thinking, I just want to let go.
Yeah.
Like, my arms are about the limit because like. One of the guys I fish with, Jack, he's a machine at this. He's been doing it all last season. He was only spinning for him. He's got straps on, and he was like, even said to me, he's like, I'm at a point now where I can just stand there, hands off. I know where it's going to go.
When the fish goes, you've got to No, we used to do this, back in the day, you used to do this beach fishing for sharks in Namibia, on west coast of Africa.
There's bronze whalers.
Yeah, there's bronzes, yeah. And look, it's pretty, it's hectic, because, the fish goes, you can't run it down, but I developed, they go and they can run 300 yards. You can't stop them. It's not like, they've got to go. And, geez, a lot of line to get back in. And it hurts. But I used to smoke back then. I developed a technique where I could be locked off on the butt pad thing here, sitting on the beach. This thing's going, be locked off on my arm, and I could roll a fag while it's going, just have a rest. And occasionally, like you see, half an hour into the fight, you think, God, if I just touched the line with my fag, all
this pain won't go. It's all gone away. Yeah, it's all gone away.
Yeah, so there's definitely a look.
There was a meme I shared yesterday, I think, on the Facebook or Instagram, and it was a guy going on about. It was he was spinning for tuna. It's got Harry Potter in whatever the other lad's got, and he goes, "You're gonna what is it? You're gonna really enjoy it." But what did he say? And it just stuck with me. It nailed it in one.
It's pain. The big fish are pain.
I think it's fascinating that
You're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it. Do you know something?
Yeah. You're gonna be happy.
It's a delightful kind of pain.
Yeah, you're gonna be happy, but you're gonna suffer. Because
some fish beat you up.
After I got that fish to the boat, revived it, let it go, I was like, I'm not doing that again. 15 minutes later, I'm like, there's one.
Yeah. Fish fever.
Well, you see it. I mean, Alex spoke about it slightly, and a few other guys the guys that do a lot of abroad trips, or this is certainly going to be applicable to our fishery now. People will, they go to the gym, they'll work out, they will tailor their fishing needs.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Oh, God.
The man. There's a chair there, mate. Put it in if you want. Tricky's just turned up. Guest appearances always.
Just stick it behind the camera there.
Sit yourself there, mate. Make yourself comfy. You were very quiet coming in. Good job. So it was when. Where was I going with that? Tricky threw me.
We're talking about you.
I've been banging on about fighting fish, and I might stop ranting about it because it's one of my things.
Yeah, but I think it's a really good point to go to because I think a lot of guys.
No, but it is. Look,
they do fanny him in a bit.
Look, I understand why, but also I don't. I can't prove it. I just think we'd land more fish if you gave them more grief instead of letting them run all the time. That's my belief.
How many fish do you lose?
Well, we all lose fish. I hope not too many. I'm not sure I hook enough to lose that many. You're all going to. Fishing's fishing, isn't it? It's unpredictable. It runs against a rock, or it does this, or the hook comes out, whatever. But I have confidence. You're always after, aren't you? You hope that everything goes right when you hook that fish of a lifetime, and it is a lot of luck. Of course, it is. I've hooked fish that have gone the wrong way. I'm sure we all have. I don't think bass are particularly dirty fish. They're not like a GT that goes straight for a coral bommy. But if they go the wrong way on the angle, I don't care how hard you pull it. If it's a long way out on the angle, you can't do much, can you? A friend of mine's fish, I know it still haunts him. I can think of a fish from me and another. Yeah, they haunt you. But I guess you're always trying to work towards that as and when you do hook that fish of a life, whatever it may be. And it might be a 10-pound bass, might be a 6-pound wrasse, might be a 40-pound con, whatever it may be. I suppose you're trying to work yourself in a position that you feel confident that you can do it. And if something goes wrong, so be it. Obviously, you're going to beat yourself up, and I beat myself. I still have nightmares about
wake up in the middle of the night with a cold sweat.
My wife actually said many years ago, she goes, stop freaking sleep talking about conger eels. I had lots of fish of a lifetime, and it still haunts me now. But no, I bang on. It's one of my things. I just think we could just slightly just learn how to scrap fish harder. And I think you get more in, personally.
Do you always fish barbless?
100%. I personally, if I had my way, if I had my way, barbs should be illegal in bass fishing. I hate them.
Is that because
all lure fishing? I hate them.
See, in carp fishing,
there's no need for them. There's no need for barbs.
Doesn't move.
There's no need for barbs. No one yet can give me any cogent argument as to why barbs are required. They're absolutely not needed. And people who don't like barbless hooks is because they're not fighting the fish hard enough. End of. Barbless hooks do not fall out.
Do you use trebles?
Sometimes on hard lures, yeah.
Okay.
But they're all barbless.
Oh,
sorry.
Is that easier because if you do lose something, you want the fish to be able to dump the lure as easy as possible?
Another thing about people bang on, people bang on about I'm going to rant. Sorry.
Rant away, mate.
Releasing
makes
fish.
Great listening.
Releasing
Gets
fish.
The views up.
This, that, where they release fish and this, that, and they care for their fish. They're still prepared to stick. They're still prepared to stick potentially 9 barbed hooks into a bass. One will be in the mouth, one will be in the eye, one will be down here. That fish is dead. You rip all those hooks out, then they measure it, then they photograph it, and then they put it back. Bass are tough. We know they're a lot tougher than pollock. That fish is dead. I don't care what anyone says. It ain't going back. Now, again, I'm ranting, but you give me an argument for a barb in bass fishing.
Well, so
everyone says to me, everyone will say they've got a unique situation where they need a barb. Balls. I've got a dumping surf break. I need balls. Pull your fish.
See,
barb hooks don't fall out.
Whenever I was wrasse fishing, I always used to cross the barb because I thought this fish is always going to go back.
Yeah, and you might catch a lot of them.
Yeah.
Boom, slip them out. You don't even measure.
They got real tough mouths. Trying to get a
Why
barb
is everyone
out
measuring every fish they catch? It's brilliant, but get them.
Yeah, see,
take a bass to eat by all means. Get them back.
The carp boys, you see it a lot. They're stood there, they're holding the fish, and they're like, "This fish went 23 pound 8 ounces. Is it a PB? No. Why have you weighed it? Just take a nice picture, slip it back. Like, has it gone wherever you PB? Is it over 30 pound? No. So why are you telling me the weight of that fish?
Barbs are a thing of mine, but it's not only for. They're just not needed. I don't care what no one yet has given me an argument for the barbs are required. But also, sorry, I am going round.
No,
but it's also me. It's I know that one day I am going to be in bass heaven. I'm going to be there's going to be £10 bass arsing to be caught everywhere in front of me. And I know I'm going to have the worst case of fish fever going, and I'm going to end up with a freaking 6.0 weedless hook. It's going to go straight through my finger.
You just want to be able to pull it straight out.
If it's barbless, it's going to hurt, but I carry on fishing. If it's barbed, my dream session's over. I know it's going to happen.
I've been to hospital 3 times having hooks taken out of my fingers because I just couldn't get them back out again.
Yeah.
I've tried everything.
You are not
a set of
pulling a barbed 6.0 weedless hook out of your hand.
One of those 4.0 Kamakuras they use for carp. You are not pulling that thing back out again.
And also it's easier in clothing. It's easy. How many people stick barb hooks
nets,
in their lure bag? You just don't. We got this. About bending rods. Sorry, is one of my things.
No. So I've got a fairly funny story of a hook incident, and a friend of ours, Jake, will tell you. And I wished we filmed it. Not more so to highlight this. I was pike fly fishing on the Somerset levels years ago. It was early spring, and I was lobbing a really big rat fly down a drain, and the wind picked up. A rat
fly?
Yeah, big tide rat flies for these big drain eaters. And I was casting this big fly, 2 8.0s in the back of this thing, big 12-inch rats, and the wind was wrapping around us, and Jake was to my left, and I wanted to get kind of in this pool.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't want to swing with back cast on my left-hand side, so I carried on my right, knowing it was going to swing the line around my head. So I was high casting and then dumping into the pool. So I didn't get in his way. I didn't want to disturb him, and the wind blew. And I remember playing this day, and it was warm. I just had on my waders, a little rucksack, a little fish pan rucksack, and I just had one of my vests on. And the fly line came around me and fired both 8.0s into the back of my armpit to the bend. Right in. We yanked them out on the bank, got them out, and they were
barbless or barbed?
No, they were Arex, what they call micro barbs, and they were just a tiny little sliver from Arex. And they both in when I say in the crease of my armpit where the line had got me, it's pulled through, and the whole weight of that 10-weight fly line on a haul, and you know what fly guys can shift line, that thing went flying to the meat, to the bend of the hooks.
Yeah, I've seen guys get
it was horrific. And we said we missed the trick, we should have filmed it, as an education of what can happen, and we got the pliers. I just said, just fucking get out, and I sat there and just kind of didn't look, and he went pop on one hook, and then got the big pike pliers again and pop the other one. It bled everywhere.
Because otherwise you're going to hospital. They got to numb your finger.
It was bad.
I'm trying to find the picture on here. They cut the eye off. They cut the eye off, and then they carry on pushing it through the way it's going. It's the only way to get it out. I've had it.
But again, look, I can't make people crush their barbs. Of course I can't. I'm only Henry. But
I legend it is.
Well, legend in my own lunchbox, more like. I just don't see the need for them. But that comes again because I give my fish the gears.
So we could touch on something, and we're kind of in this, and this again. I don't want to cause rants here, but I mean, obviously,
I think they're brilliant.
The freshwater scene.
Subject. I asked my wife. I have many subjects upon which I can.
Yeah,
rant.
my missus says I rant in town.
But let's touch on a subject here now. Obviously, the freshwater scene. That's the carp, the pike, the perch boys. There is a lot of fish care.
Yes.
Mats, sprays, all sorts of stuff.
I gave you my mats the other day for carp. That thing is like...
This is a rabbit hole, yeah.
But so, and this is something, and I'm playing devil's advocate here because I've been on the receiving end of this sometimes, and I'm quite good with what I do. Do you see a time or the pressure being put on us saltwater anglers to go? I mean, I know there are some lure anglers. I've seen a lot of RAS anglers that now use little mobile lure fish mats, all this sort of stuff. Now, I get it, and I horrify. And I guess it's people that don't have the knowledge of how to hold the fish properly, how to prepare the line, so even if the fish wobbles, it doesn't touch the floor. Is there an argument with the way the world goes that maybe we could do more? Now that makes me cringe because I don't want to be carrying all the shit with me out and about, but I just want to go basic, and I've got the appropriate. I know how to hold the fish properly. I know about line management, so if it wobbles, I'm going to catch it before it touches the floor. Yeah. Especially when photographing, is there arguments talking on the fish safety point of like losing fish with hooks, of like the mats, the sprays, the rubberized nets, all sort of stuff? Because there is a world in lure fishing.
Oh no, of course,
where they go. I'm gonna get shot down here. I do think it's fucking ridiculously too much. I'm all for a bit of it and being sensible.
Look at that!
Oh, beauty. But I'm all for it, and I fully support it. But I think when you're looking at massive nets, unhooking mats and sprays and all this aftercare shit, and don't get me wrong, it serves a purpose.
So in carp fishing, it's massive. So you've got to have a cradle, you've got to have a mat. They talk about, when you pop that hook out. So the barb and the barbless one, everything used to be barbless, and I get it because it is a faff getting the micro. A lot of lads are using the micro barb stuff, but the thinking in with carp fishing is that barbless hook can move a lot more on the fight, so they use the micro barbs. And
why does it move more?
But they don't fight a carp like a saltwater angler fight.
But so why does a barbless hook move more than a barbed hook? I just don't get it.
I think it's the runs from the fish constantly because we're not.
But why is the barbless hook moving as opposed to the barbed hook?
Very, very soft inside of the mouth. You put your hand inside a carp's mouth, it's like feeling inside ours.
But at the end of the day, we can't get away from it.
I think
we stick hooks in fish for our pleasure.
Yes, we do. And there's this thing. So when I was with Exeter Uni recently doing some tuna tagging, they had one of the girls there whose PhD was in fish feel pain.
Yeah.
And they're using now when they're tagging those tuna, it's brutal how it goes in. They're numbing the tuna down because they know that fish feel pain. So when you're bringing bass in, carp in, perch in, whatever it is, they know they've been hooked.
Well, they can't be enjoying it.
No, I don't. Yeah.
I mean, for all that I look after my fish, there's plenty of times when I'm a photographer, so I will work a fish if it's a good fish, but I won't. If people saw me work, I'd hope they'd see that. I won't, if I can't photograph it properly because there's no rock, if there's no rock pool, it goes back. I mean, I'm not going to harm a fish for a photograph.
Our last trip out on one of the fish that I caught, and I think we had it back in the net in the water 4 or 5 times just for that one photograph to make sure that it was fresh, it was breathing, it was fine. So
I always say to someone, I always say, breathe the fish. Just make sure, but every fish, bass are tough, pollock aren't. Pollock go back. You can't, a couple of pictures of a pollock and probably they're not tough fish. Bass are tough as hell. But mats and this, I don't know, because at the end of the day, I am sticking a hook in that fish for my pleasure. I can't get away from it. Is the fish enjoying it? Well, if it was enjoying it, it probably wouldn't thrash around. It'd probably just say thank you very much and come on in. But they're thrashing around to try and get away, trying to get the hooks out of their mouth. So are they feeling pain? I don't know, but I'm guessing they're not enjoying it because I'm guessing a hook in my mouth isn't probably that much fun.
Ain't fun in the finger.
No. So, how far do we go? I don't know.
Because the carp boys have taken it to a level where you've got, it's like an iodine solution. Yeah, we sold it. As soon as that hook's out, you're putting that into its mouth. You can flick some water.
But they might well be, look, I'm not going to say they're right or wrong because I don't know nothing about it, but they might be catching that fish 50 times.
That's the thing, yeah.
Mary, the giant carp, I don't know how many times she's been caught, but it could be a few. A lot of our bass. Do we catch them again?
Probably never seen another hook. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that is a thing.
I've heard. I know.
When
actually,
you're fishing a 5 acre, a 1 acre pond with 200 fish in it, all of those fish are coming out multiple times a year. So they really, because you start getting them with all the funny mouths. They call it a parrot mouth. The scissors rip on the sides. Yeah, and they just.
So there has to be an argument there for looking after your fish as best you can. So
and one of those carpet 30
they're healthy. You can catch
a few thousand pounds, and
but I do. There's always that argument that you release a bass, it gets netted. Well, I can't. That's not a. Again, it's not a viable argument. It doesn't make. But I do slightly. Again, I photograph fish and I work some fish hard. But in people who see me work in a very ethical way, I believe.
When you say work fish hard, what do you mean?
Well, sometimes I want a certain shot. I mean, I'm trying to get a shot if I can, with Dave or Danny or whoever it is, Joe Blogs, and there's a rock pool, and you can make sure the fish is okay. I'm trying to get, a tight of the fin, just for creative reasons, a tight of the fin or of the mouth or the eye, whatever, blue fins. But I slightly worry. By all means, like I said, take a fish to eat. When you can't take a fish, you can't take a fish. When you can, at the right size, take a fish too. I don't eat fish. But compared to me photographing fish, there's a lot of people who seem to be measuring a lot of fish, and that fish is spending a lot of time out of the water. I have seen anglers come out of the surf where there's no rock pools around, go onto the beach, measure, get some competition card next to it, then photograph it. That fish is out of the water for a long time. You can't tell me that fish goes back strong. With bass being a strong fish. Now, again, that fish gets netted. Okay, I can't talk about that with the commercial side of things because it's the way it is.
Yeah, you can just do what you can do in the time frame. But also, you are with that fish.
Again, from a photography point of view, I see anglers, for a picture, they stick their fingers in the gills like that. Why? I mean, again, fish are fish, humans are humans, but we stick hooks and fish for our pleasure. We should, if we're going to release a fish, surely we owe it to that fish to try and ensure that its chances of survival are at a maximum. It's never going to be 100%, but when anglers, if anyone's with me, does that, stop.
So that's a very good point.
Because would you want fingers stuck on your lungs, right? For example,
so that's because I'm fishing from the boat.
Lip it.
So are you guys always using lip grips when you're?
No, not always using lip grips. Sometimes lip grips, but grab the fish with your. There's no teeth in a bass. It's not a freaking tiger fish. I wouldn't say stick your fingers in a tiger fish, Jules.
I'd rather have my thumb in its mouth than round those spikes on that gill.
Yeah, much safer. Thumb it. Grip him hard and thumb it for a picture or for release. Don't go sticking those two fingers either side of up in there because you can't tell me that sticking your fingers in its, would you call it a breathing apparatus? Their gills?
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing in water, I suppose they do breathe in water, don't they? Yeah. Don't get sticking your fingers in its gills.
So on touch with this, then obviously it's a subject that I've got them and some of my friends have got them. I know you've used them previously and are lip grips, bogers. Now I love them as a tool.
Anyone tells me I can't use them, they can.
Yeah. So
I'm going to say it.
No,
say it.
Hang on. No. Because it's
go away.
So there's a massive amount of hate for these tools online, whether that be freshwater, and I see a lot of I read their comments. And it's uneducated comments on how they're used.
Slating the fish grip. I guarantee you they are measuring a bass for 15 freaking minutes, then taking pictures, then using their competition card. What's worse? Controlling a fish, subduing a fish, looking after it with a grip in the lip in a rock pool. So they'll be slating me or you online. You didn't need a fish grip. Oh, go away, grow up. But they'll be doing all that measuring, all that photographing with a fish out of the water. If you personally, I don't even measure a fish. Try and do it. Well, I do it in the water. I don't very, very rarely measure my fish, so I can't be bothered. But so fish grips, another whole thing. I've got one. I very rarely use it, but I've had cases in Ireland with Nick Roberts back in the day. I've had a 10-pound bass, one of his, swimming around on a grip because he's into another fish.
Yeah.
And
it's the safest way to control it.
Absolutely fine.
I've seen revive tuna on lip grips. There's a thing with tuna with gaffs or lip grip.
I don't condone getting a lip grip and going like that.
No. Yeah, exactly.
But there's no need for that.
No.
You hold it and support it.
Yeah, support the fish. But to look after that fish in the water, let's say you're out to here in currents and, I'll often carry a net and just, again, because barbless hook, I've caught bass, I've never even touched them. Just slip the hook out, drop the net, gone. Or get him or her, the fish on a lip grip. If you need to do something, unhook it, control it. What's better, the fish, better or worse? Fish thrashing around like crazy, or on a grip, controlled, pair of pliers, or finger, get the hook out, and just
do they become more control when they're on that lip grip?
Again, you...
yes or no?
Don't grip that tongue. Is it a tongue? Would you call it?
Yeah, so we got the same with the tuna. They say you got to watch the tongue when you.
For me, it's I've seen so much really, really, really ill-informed information about it. Now, I've seen pictures where, even in the pike fishing scene, and I don't agree with them on a pike, but I've seen people put pictures up where the jaw has been split in two and cut all the way down to the gill plates. Oh, that's a lip grip, bow grip. It's bollocks. It's utter, because if you, and you know this, I know this, even on a pike, if I put a professional, let's talk, they're hundreds of pounds, some of our lip grips.
Yeah.
On a fish. Now, just say, for instance, the pike, and I've seen these pictures, and it balls my piss that you get these haters because they don't understand what they're talking about, and this fish is split open like a banana peel. Now, you could put that fish on. You couldn't physically, I'm not saying you would, but you couldn't physically grab that pike and pull that and do that damage because that's not how a fish grip works. I've proved it. Me and Tricky use dress grippers. Now, the mechanism inside will grab and will release, but will even on your skin. The second that touches a ferret, it stops.
Yeah.
It doesn't pinch down.
Keep squeezing.
It doesn't keep squeezing. Yeah. It stops immediately. It will release straight away. It locks. And you can put it on your lip. It won't hurt you. And you think, oh, fuck me, that old's hard. But you can put it on your lip. You don't even know it's on there. Yeah. But this misinformation, a lot of them have swivel heads. They think, oh, you're holding on to it, the fish spins and twists out. A boga, for instance, is one of the IGFA only recognised methods of weighing some fish in a boga. Yeah. It's on a swivel. It cannot twist. Yes, dress grips are solid, but it's on a landlord. You let it go.
My argument would be, no, I agree with you 100%, of course I do. But my argument is that angler who's given me grief for using a lip grip has probably just stuck 9 barbed, 3 treble hooks.
Covered in fucking mud. And
9 barbed hooks in a fish, in the eye, mouth and throat. And it's given me grief for controlling a fish on a lip grip.
Yeah.
We do tend to,
Let's step back and look at it real, isn't it, at the end of the day?
We go fishing. We do sometimes cause damage to fish. That is fishing. It's a byproduct. We try not to, but we do. We try and minimise it, and we try and use our experience and our knowledge to get these fish back as safe as we can if we are going to release them. And if we're not going to release them, bang them hard on the head.
Yeah.
Get them done with.
I've just bought the new AFCO Priest for doing that. Because I can't be one of those guys when we're putting pollock in the cool box.
Oh, it's awful.
They cut them,
bleed
everywhere, them out and they chuck them on ice. I can't do it. Bang.
You've got to kill them.
Bang them on the head, cut
humane.
their gills, then we gut them, then we put them on ice.
Yeah.
I've got to bang them on the head. I was having this conversation on Wednesday with me and Dave and Dom. They put them on the deck. They're like,
I don't like it.
It's doing this. It's
disrespectful.
Out it came. Whack.
It's cruel and it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
I think,
it makes me feel bad. It's looking at me. It's like and I feel I've got daughters inside. They turn me really soft. It's there going, well, I'm slowly suffocating on the deck of your boat. I'm just sorry, mate. Bang. Like if it's coming home, it's getting dispatched really quickly and it's getting used.
So then. Slight change of subject then. I mean, we've touched on your waders, we've touched on coats, we've touched on the good, the bad, the ugly. But let's talk, I mean, one thing that you see an awful lot of asked online, storage or your rucksacks, your bags. I know you've played around an awful lot in what you carry your gear in. So, and I know this is still a question that probably every day gets asked online. Would you elaborate a little bit more on what you've seen and found and how you manage? I've got a way how I manage it. That's probably slightly different to you, but we've got similarities in brands that we wear. So it's a question that gets asked every single day. And how would you tackle that nowadays?
I can't get on with the sling bag. They drive me mad. But
is that the one across?
Yeah. But then also I'm probably, again, I'm different to most other anglers because I'm always carrying camera gear. Always. I'm never,
you've got that
ever
beautiful hair that will tangle when you swing it round, and it's.
But I'll never, ever go fishing without camera gear. I can't do it.
No.
Professionally or just because I love it. So I'm always bound to a rucksack first off. But in that rucksack, I'm not carrying my lures because when I'm fishing, I'll always try and put the rucksack whatever. I carry a waterproof.
You don't want wet stuff getting in.
No, I carry a waterproof rucksack. I'll always try my best to dump it down, back on the rocks or the bank, whatever it may be. And then I'll go fishing.
Is that an Overboard or HPA or other brands, or is it?
I've got an Overboard one now, Savage Gear one. I actually got on very well with the Savage Gear one. It's really good. But the Overboard one, just again, it's for camera gear. It's slightly wider, so it's actually easier to work cameras out of.
They're so nice on
because it's all a slight compromise in the day. But I want access to my lures. I don't want them here. I don't want them 50 yards away. Yeah. I want them. So I use. Do you call it a side hip bag?
Waist hip
side thing.
It happens to be the HPA chest pack, which is a stupid name because it's the wrong name for the bag. It sits on my side. I need that bag.
Have you done it in the configuration for the chest? So it's fucking awful. It's too big.
I can't do it.
You can't see what you're doing.
I'm right-handed, so I cast. I want my lures on my left-hand side. Yeah. I take 2 of those washable Savage Gear lure boxes. It's all I carry. Yeah. One's got horizontal slots. One's got vertical slots. It sits in my bag. Everyone does it differently. It sits in my bag on my side on a belt with the pliers there. Fish grip sits off it there. I have a wading stick often there. A collapsible wading stick. I need that bag. Again, a lot of people are slightly obsessed. I don't know why. They're obsessed about waterproof hip bags. Yeah. I don't quite...
Let them fill.
Everything's going to get... Also, you'll notice, again, deep... We used to do this in Dungarvan Bay a lot, fishing the oyster beds. You are deep wading for a long period. It's not dangerous or anything, but you are deep. A waterproof hip bag...
Floats.
knocks you off balance.
Yeah.
You're in the waves, anything that doesn't drain knocks you off balance. I found that out very quickly. It sounds like a great idea, but
it catches you off guard, doesn't it?
It knocks you off balance. So I need my bag to drain. As in, if I'm in the water... It fills up the water, come out of the water, all the water flushes out. So, obviously I wash my lures when I get home.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You're going to wash your kit down anyway.
I do. So the HPA chest pack happens to just about fit the 2 boxes in. Yeah. The belt that comes with it is crap. The shoulder strap that comes with it is crap. So I use a camera. I've got an ancient old camera strap as a shoulder strap. I'll use a Sims neoprene belt that's done me about 15 years now. Sims neoprene belt as a waist thing to sit on my waist. And that's... And that goes on as naturally as me undies.
I say that your pants in the morning.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
You want that. So when I used to set my rucksack,
I don't even think about it.
I had sections everywhere, and I could sit there in the dark, put my hand in my rucksack, and I knew exactly where everything would be. And you want that fluidness, don't you? When you go,
I know naturally
muscle memory.
I'm fishing. What am I doing? So I cast. I want to change the lure. So I cast. So I'll put my. My rod goes under my right. Again, I see some people getting these dreadful sort of like messes trying to change the lure. Like they do. I stick my rod butt under my armpit, trap it, so it's like that. So the rod's
swing it around.
So then I unzip the bag, pull a lure, unclip, pull it. So I just know. I don't even think about it. It's
a process. The
rucksack is just a thing. Nature. Rucksack is just a way to carry gloves, camera gear, bottle of drink or coffee, whatever, a little mini tripod for the camera, and blah, 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 spare battery, whatever it may be. So that's always that's the heavy thing. But my lures have to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't. I've tried. I tell myself to try other ways, and I can't. I can. I can try them. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me.
So you were saying about a wading stick. I'm guessing this is like a telescopic walking stick. You can break.
Well, yeah, I bought these cheap. Again, people.
You got a wading stick?
No, I don't. He's got a pimp.
You see? Hang on. He just said.
One?
No, I don't, because I don't use them. But it's not.
So exactly. That is no interesting. The way you said it is the way I used to wading stick. It's for old people. The lad I work with in Ireland, John Quinlan. We give our clients wading sticks virtually all the time because we fish some of these very, very shallow reefs. God, they make your life easier just for standing up.
Tap.
Yeah,
you can find where
we were using them the other day in Guernsey. I mean, some of the ground is ridiculously hectic, and especially we were wading around at night on boulder fields. But again, I've had very, very expensive.
That's what a Stella is for on the end of the rod. It sinks really fast and you can poke it in the holes really well.
Well, yeah, you can, to be fair. You can use a rod as a wading stick, but
No, I know what you mean. No, it's a tool.
But again, until someone's... It's very easy to poo-poo a wading stick. Oh, it's for old people. God, they're useful. I mean, but again, I've tried all these expensive carbon fiber fly fishing ones, and they all fall apart. So I went onto Amazon, as you do, last year, and I bought a couple of, just to see what they're like 2 collapsible walking sticks for like 25 quid. So the first one hasn't broken.
Is that real Diamante one with the pimp head on it, like a pimp stick that I saw using that time? Yeah,
bloody brilliant. I don't use it much. It sits there. In fact, my strap's broken. I've got to find.
And is that one that takes apart with like elastic, so you can? Yeah,
and it should have rusted out by now.
But hasn't.
For 12 quid.
But isn't that great that
I very rarely use it, but my God, there's one, like I say, there's one specific reef in Kerry that I don't care how good you are. I don't care, and I'm good on rocks. I think I can move on rocks, and I can move even better now. I'm fitter. I don't care how good you are. You're going over without a wading stick. I don't care how macho you are. I don't subscribe to this macho garbage. No. It just doesn't wash with me. It's not my thing.
Some people get hurt, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just why not make it easier?
Yeah, no, 100%.
And it is, you can just use one, and also when you're deep wading, it's quite handy to use the rod tip, or because I've done it before. I've been with a mate.
Send your mate in first.
I've been with a mate. I can tell you exactly, I know exactly where it was. There's absolutely no need for me to wade this gully because it's there. And there's a rock there. I want to get on it because I'm a twat. So Andy's standing here. I did the classic, stick your rod tip in like this. I'll show you where it is one day. Stick your rod tip in. And I swear this is true. I jumped with my waders. It's gone. Gone. It wasn't dangerous. And so Andy's, why? What's the point? Because the rock's there. Get out, soaking wet, fish on the rock, come back, new way. Same thing, straight under. Absolutely pointless wading, but you do it because you're a bloke in a region.
I used to use 2 sections of the bushwhacker.
Yeah.
Just wade along, just tapping away like that. What am I walking into? Because I was wading a lot in silt and stuff like that. And I just didn't want to sink, so I was just using my bushwhacker.
But a lot of my night fishing's on beaches, whatever.
Yeah, of course,
I used to do more night fishing before the pills and stuff. But
let's not advocate that we should be doing this sort of thing if you don't know what you're wading into and things like this.
But it makes it easy. If you are fishing boulder fields in the dark and you're trying to be ninja, makes it a lot easier.
You need to, And
it just makes it easy.
I'm going to put that out there. I'm not saying that anyone should just go if they don't know, if they're not a little bit familiar with what they're doing, where they're going, or they've got with someone that knows what they're doing. I don't advocate anyone on here, listeners, viewers, that you do this sort of stuff. We can do it, and we have friends that do it because it's what we do.
Yeah,
Joe Brooks can't come off as fishing off the canal and go down.
We still go down. I don't care. We still fall over. I mean,
fuck me. Cornish Lure Festival last year, first hour, I've gone and just get my arm and fuck myself up and ruined the whole weekend.
Yeah,
I've had hours on the bank. It happens to the best of us.
It's fishing, isn't it?
What head torch are you using when you're night fishing?
Ah.
Oh, don't get. There's going to be a fight here.
Funny enough, that was it. It's a night core.
Do you use NU25 or 35? Because there's
25.
big differences. 25.
25, but you lads told me to look at the other one. I've been using it recently. I can't remember what it's called. Fenix
Shadowmaster.
Fenix Shadowmaster. And I've got to say...
You like that. I can tell by the way you...
Oh, it's his... I use something differently now.
The Nightcore NU25, to me, is perfection. It's so small, I don't even take it out of my bag. It just lives there. It's perfection. It's so lightweight. I use it for I've got 2. I use one for running, dog walking,
of course,
fishing. They're brilliant. Absolutely, it's flawless. But that Fenix Shadowmaster is seriously growing on me. It's on. It's a bit heavier. But it's not very heavy, obviously. For dog walking, it's great. I've been using it night fishing a bit.
Adjustable red light on that is a game changer.
Well, again, that's another rabbit hole you could go down, isn't it?
Red or green?
Red, always red. If so, I can feel it bubbling up inside of me now.
I'm not going to go.
That's wind.
I'm not going to go into do white light or red light spook fish because we can't prove it. But we are trying to be, when we're night fishing for bass, we think we are ninjas.
So Nash have got that stalking headlight, and you see Alan Blair going around, and at night they're hunting carp, and they're shining. It's called a lamping light, and they're just shining this light on the carp, and the carp are just sat there.
Yeah.
So I've caught fish on the head torch.
But so does it spook them or not? I don't know. I'd rather keep light off the water if I can. But when you're night fishing, you do with no light on, you do build up really good night vision, don't you?
I grew up in the middle of
peripheral vision.
So I do. So the reason that the night core one I love, I absolutely love it. It's brilliant, but the red light is quite dim. It's fine for changing a lure. It's no good for moving around the rocks. It's that sort of weird. It's that weird bright lack of brightness of red light that you lose your depth perception.
Yeah.
So you just put the white light on and keep away. But I've got to say that Fenix one you lads put me onto, that bright red light. It's amazing. It's brilliant, and you don't lose your night vision.
See, mine,
you can move around. In Guernsey on boulder fields, I was moving around completely on that, and I didn't fall. I didn't fall once, which means tomorrow I'm going to fall and break my leg. Touch wood.
But my biggest thing is, and I'm using I was put onto lead lenses a while ago, and I really like them, and they're very. I've used.
I didn't like mine. It kept turning on in my bag.
Yes, so the new ones have got like spot locks, and you can.
Yes, that's what the night core lock it. Yep. Your Fenix one. It locks.
Yeah,
I love the fact you can lock a lot.
The new LED lenses I'm on now, the HF 9Rs and stuff like that, they are. Everything about them is just space age. Everything you can control on the app. They're absolutely bollocks. Yeah. The preset settings for what I want, whether I'm fish spotting, I just want to illuminate, or it'll illuminate my feet widespread so I can see, but it'll also spotlight at the same time.
Yeah.
But 90% of that headlight, I can't say a bad word about. I love everything about it. The convenience, it lasts hours.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. The straps are shit hot. But the only thing that lets that thing down, and tricky, I tell you, is the red light on it. You might as well use the glare off your iPhone. It's that. Yeah. And I'm like, why couldn't they? They've put all this tech into this unreal. It's got facial recognition, so if it sees your eyes, it will automatically dim it to not blind you. Yeah. It does all sorts. It's so good.
How much is one of those?
About the 9RF, which is the big ones, about $250. They start at the 8 and the 7s. They're about $149.
You see, my little night core again. You can sell me on both at the moment, on a lack of red light and a very bright red light. I'll take both because a little night core is 45 quid maybe.
Yeah.
It's yay big, weighs not. I mean, I run with it all the time because I run early in the morning. It's always in the dark this time of year. Absolutely outstanding. But then on the flip side, you can sell me on that bright red light. Now I'm not doing as much night fishing as I used to because these freaking pills mess things up. That doesn't matter. But it is doing something in Guernsey the other day, and I've done a lot of dog walking.
And for the listener, that's not Viagra, and he can't get his waders on. That's
no.
That's his heart
like
meds.
A donkey. That's heart meds. So when I say pills, I mean it's not dodgy. It's heart meds. But we're doing some night fishing in Guernsey. I've done a lot of dog walking with it. You can increasingly sell me on that very bright red light setting. I can see I don't think you need it as such. You don't have to have it, but I can see the logic in it. So that night call thing will always live in my bag.
Oh, no, I get it, and that's.
But I love that Fenix one. I'm really.
It's really cool, and it's just I have a. We all fish slightly differently, and my personal needs. I want to be able to because I do a lot of the fish spotting. On a lot of fishing I do. I spoke about it on Facebook recently about I do quite a lot of bass fishing in freshwater because it's next. Yeah. It's 2 minutes from my house. It's total freshwater. Yeah. I need to be able to see what's there because I don't want to go to the pool and lose expensive lures in a pike.
Yeah.
I need to see what's there. Yeah. I need to be able to illuminate what I'm walking on, not scare everything within a country mile. I also there's beats that I don't. It's an urban environment or close to an urban environment. Yeah. I need to keep covert.
Yeah.
But it's the bollocks. I love it, but it's let down wholeheartedly to the point where like I'm constantly like I'm going to change. And it'll be the Shadow Master I go to, which we've discussed about. But that pains me because I love the other part of this headlight so much. Yeah, I don't want to carry it. Yeah, but it pains me. It real pains me because it's so good. But that one red light, I can do green, yellow, blue on this thing. Yeah. But it is so shit.
Yeah.
And that it takes a dream headlight from me. Yes, it's expensive. I'm like you. I'm lucky in a position where the expense wasn't necessarily a thing for me. But Joe Blogs, I get it. Yeah. It's expensive, but it's let down wholeheartedly. I can't divulge that information online, I'm afraid. But it's let down wholeheartedly because of that red light.
I like both the ones. Again, if I'm going to use a headlamp, being really anal about it, because I went looking a few years ago. Back in the day, we had these freaking things with halogen bulbs. If you looked at the halogen bulb wrong, it blew.
Yeah.
I remember being on the rocks at 2 a.m. in the middle of nowhere on my own. Bing!
Bing,
Oh,
yeah.
God. So you delve around. I had a film canister capsule, bits of foam, with halogen bulbs, polishing them, and oh God! And now they're brilliant. They're so lightweight.
10 million lumens or something. It's like,
and I went looking, and someone put me onto that Nightcore one because if I'm going to use a red light, if I'm going to be Mr. Ninja, I don't want one button. It drives me freaking mad.
To cycle through.
Yeah.
I want because you get the one doing the SOS mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it goes ding ding. It's and then the helicopter comes in. No, I'm all right. I want white light, red light. I want a different switch for each. What I do like as well about that Fenix one is it remembers your settings. Yeah. I mean, I always say to people RTFM. Do you know what that means?
No.
Google it. Google RTFM. Okay? Because they say, I didn't know I had that. Someone said to me a while back, I didn't know you could lock the Nightcore. I said RTFM.
read the fucking manual.
But as blokes, do we do that?
No.
There we go. Yeah. So I think I didn't know you could lock your Nightcore. Well, if you RTFM, you find out you can. So I did actually RTFM with that Fenix. All right. I swallowed my hair. I'll get a reel. I'll throw the manual away. But I did RTFM with that Fenix, and I found out, like I said, it remembers the settings, which I really like. So I can set it. So when I was in Guernsey, I had the red light set on the brightest, and the white light set on number 2. The only being really nitpicky, as only because I'm being a twat, is the red light has 4 settings and the white light has 5 settings. If they could both have 4 or 5,
yeah.
be perfect symmetry. I mean, I'm being really silly, but so I have the red light set, I had it on 4, we can go on and off, and it remembers you, and the white light on 2, like for dog walking, and remembers it, and I really like that. Yeah. And then you can lock it, obviously, so if you knock the button in your bag, it won't go off. But you'll only find this stuff out if you do RTFM. Yeah. It's the only way you're going to find this stuff out.
Yeah.
It's a necessary evil.
Yes, it is sometimes.
RTFM,
especially if you put IKEA furniture together as well.
Yeah, 100, yeah. I have to because I'm so bad at DIY.
I'm not too bad here, but
I'm
IKEA
awful.
furniture is a whole other thing.
So we're started with not even proper spring yet. 2025.
Yeah.
2025, Henry Gilbey. Is there? I mean, we don't need to waffle loads into it, but is what's if you want to talk about it? Is there much planned for 2025 for you? Is there
the big one show?
Oh yes, of course. Sorry, yes, yeah. I'm going to be at the Big One show, and I think at the weekend after I'll be at the Glasgow
Anglican Centre. Yeah.
Anglican Centre thing, which I really enjoyed.
Best fun ever.
I went there last year.
I could tell you some stories from there. I'll tell you.
You don't drive.
They get me a private plane.
Yeah. You've got to be flying from Exeter to do that.
They fly from Bristol.
You can fly from Exeter, can't you?
No, it doesn't work those times. But it's private, obviously, private charter. I mean, I've had the full works, you know. I'll fly to that. Then I think I'll go to a show in Ireland, which is really good fun. The Irish Spring Angling Fair. That is that is really cool. Really
do you go just to look around? Are you there for like
I
brands?
go and do demos and talks and yap to people. I'm not just it's my time. I get paid to do these things, but I genuinely really like communicating with anglers because you always meet someone. You know, I know what I know, but it ain't that much. There's always someone who knows more than you, or they know something different to you. And I'm one of those people is if someone comes up to me and they say, "Oh, hello, Henry," they might have watched that stupid TV stuff I did years ago, or they might. I don't even know if it's still repeated. Apparently, it's all ripped off and on YouTube. So if someone comes up and says, "Hi, Henry, good to meet you. It's really nice. Oh, thank you very much." Blah blah blah. But I'm not going to talk about me. I'd rather talk about them. Ask them the questions.
That's how you find out about head torches and how you find out about it.
I'm lethal for asking questions. You know, we've always encouraged my 2 girls ask questions to the point where a few times it's like, Jesus, give us a break, will you?
I've got that at the minute with Florence.
We're having supper. Dad, if the moon goes around, what? Dad, this bit of chicken, if that... I don't know, but I do believe in being very inquisitive. I believe it's how you improve as a human being, how you improve as an angler. So someone comes up and says, "Hi, Henry," they probably think they know me already. They don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I want to talk about them, talk about their fishing. Because that's what I'm interested in.
I think it also makes that person feel, I don't know if special is the right word, but I'll use it, it shows that you're showing an interest in that person who has shown an interest in you by watching your stuff, so it's a nice thing to do
or they read me the biggest, I love it when people say I read your blog. I get a real kick out of that, because I do my blog, like I say, because I wake up early and I've got to pull the contents of my head forth upon something, so it might as well be the written word, it might be the blog. People come up and say they read the blog, I get a real kick out of it. I really, really like it. If they say they hate it, I don't get such a kick. But if they say they like it, I get a real kick, because I really enjoy that. But I want to know about them. What fishing do they do? Because there's always someone doing something different to you. Yeah. And you'll think, I don't know, someone last year I got a lad from Scotland saying, I'm fishing this gravity stick pulse tail we did. I said, oh yeah, brilliant. And I always say, how are you fishing it? Because I don't believe in assumption. I never have done. He says, I'm doing this. I said, I never even thought. And he's twitching it. I've never even thought of that, the way he's fishing it.
Taking it into your fishing. Do you use it?
Yeah, I do a bit, yeah. And it just made me, and now these creature baits going on, I'll always ask questions, because I know nothing. I want to find out from people who know the stuff. So as a rule, I don't tend to understand people who don't ask questions. I'm not drawn to them. Yeah. I'm not drawn to, what do you call it, uninquisitive people?
Yeah,
Is that right? I don't know if that's the right word. Because there's so much stuff to learn, isn't it?
Of course there is, yeah.
I didn't do very well at school because I wasn't interested, apart from drums, rugby and whatever. I wasn't interested in schoolwork much, but I'm interested in fishing and trying to improve myself. And the only way I'm going to get is become a better angler is doing it and learning from other people.
Yeah.
I don't do. That's why I don't do experts, because they know it all anyway.
Yeah.
I can't stand.
It's an off-put, isn't it? It's an
I just can't. I know it all. If I'm talking to someone, if they don't ask me a question, you can do your standard, can't you? A few questions with people. This is psychology. This is all. Conversations are reciprocal, are they not? It's a two-way thing. And also if someone comes up and starts telling me all about their fishing, gives a break. Let's have a two-way conversation.
I think that is online, and social media nowadays has absolute perks and huge reach and growth, and is fascinating and great positive for all of us in our industry.
Yeah.
But it also does have an element of that negative side.
So I just hit block. Anyone's unpleasant, just block them. I'm not interested. I'm interested in feedback. I don't know if anyone...
Constructive criticism.
People look at my Facebook page, you'll notice that I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely... Now, I might be working on something Savage Gear related. What does someone think? But I want to know what people think and what they're doing. And now people don't have to be forthcoming. I'm not asking someone where they're fishing. I'd never expect, I had a nice bass. Oh, where did you catch that? None of my business. I wouldn't ask them. But I would hope that people would be forward with how they do it. I am. Yeah. Maybe that's the wrong thing to do. I'll never, ever. People say, I caught a bass and I was...
Do you ask them what lure they've used and things like that?
What lure, what colour, what technique, what this, that, whatever. Because I'm just interested. I want to learn. Obviously, I hope it's good for my work, but but I am a useless businessman because I should be more commercial. But in reality, all comes down because I just like fishing.
Yeah. It's about engaging with the community, though, isn't it? Though,
I like anglers. Anglers generally. Anglers. You obviously get keyboard warriors in life, in fishing and in life. But I've worked in the assumption. I don't use that word. Assume. Sorry. Anglers are generally quite cool people.
Yeah.
We are enthusiasts. We like what we do. I've been lucky enough to spend, like I said, I've anglers all around the world.
Yeah.
In some really weird places. Anglers are generally quite cool, and I've
often said, I've never been in a position really to be able to go to the places that I've gone to if it was just me doing what I did as a family or holidays, whatnot. But working in fishing with Costa and people like that, took me to some of the most coolest places in the world. I've met some of those amazing people in the world.
People are brilliant.
All through fishing. And we get the nippers come into the shop and they're showing an interest, and I will take actual time out of what I'm doing to engage with the youngsters.
They're the future.
Because
we sure as hell are not the future. I'm 52 next month. I'm not the future of fishing.
44 next month. Yeah,
I'm way past. I'm old. I'm old school. Probably with some of my music as well. I'm old school, but I'm desperately keen. I love trying to keep up with what's going on, try and stay at the forefront. Not stay at the forefront. I try and learn from angle. I do try and be at the forefront. I just enjoy flipping things on their head and changing things. Yeah. But I'm not the future. I'm a dinosaur. I shoot stills. I should be shooting more video.
Yeah, but that plethora of experience that you have, that's what pushes industries forward as well. New guys, the young guys coming through are the future 100%, but they're only going to learn a lot of this stuff from guys like you.
Possibly,
you have to have
but I've got to help enthuse them.
You're not a CEO of a company because you turned up last week. You're a CEO of a company because because you have this huge amount of experience, and that's what you have. And that's.
But I can't be expert. My first thought when I go online, I go on Facebook or something. My first two words I think are "be nice." The angler coming into bass fishing who catches a 48 centimetre bass. Now, to us that. It's a fish. It's a to that person. That might be their first bass. That might be their bass of the year. What do I say? I'd like to say, bloody well done. Instead of you should have gone out and done it. Why did you photograph that? Why did you talk about that? Because it might not to an expert it might mean nothing because it's not big enough. To them, that is their fish of a lifetime. Be nice.
And we've often I think we've said it on here before. One positive comment and encouraging people and bigging it up and making it special can make someone's week, their month.
100%.
One negative comment can hit someone and really fuck them up.
Yes.
You don't know what's going on in the background. You don't know what's going on. That 47 centimetre bass might have pulled him out the darkest hole in the world.
Exactly.
He's got out, he's gone and done this, and you've just chucked him right back in there again by going, why have you done that?
And we owe it to ourselves as a community and as people
to be nice.
Well, it's just I want them to be nice to me.
It's quite standard, though,
I believe it's the way I was brought up. I was brought up to my dad always used to say, "Manners maketh man," and we used to laugh when we were young. And you get older, you think, and my kids are just. They're just my kids. They're nothing, they're special. They're just my kids. But Jesus Christ, they've got good manners. Yeah, they've got good manners. They all say please and thank you, and they'll look you in the eye and they'll talk to you. Because we, as my wife and I believe as parents, that's incredibly important. They may not achieve anything in life. They may just do it. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but they're nice human
beings. They can do what they want.
The
but they all say please and thank you. And they'll be nice to other people.
Lots said about that.
Yeah, and I think it's really important.
That will take you a long way in life. Whereas
100%.
You say, they might not do this, they might not do that, or academic or whatever.
Yeah.
Just being that nice human person can take you as far as any academic.
You've often said, haven't you, that you will invest in people rather than
themselves.
I've got the lad that runs
people more than results.
I've got the lad that runs my removal company. When he first turned up, we called them box wankers. We burnt through them constantly. All they were allowed to do was carry a box.
Yeah.
Can't touch the sofa, can't touch the TV, can't drive the van, not allowed to stack the van, you're not allowed to talk to customers. He runs the removal company for me because him as a human, he's super polite, he's a really nice lad, unbelievably reliable, can turn his hand to absolutely anything, supporting me, he's trustworthy, he's all these things.
Yeah.
He runs removals.
There you go.
He now, out of that, bought a house, done this, done that. He's off on a holiday to Dubai in July and all these sorts of things. He's made himself a bona fide living. When he first turned up into my storage yard, he was with his dad and they were collecting some furniture going to a second-hand shop. And he walked into my office, he was asking questions and he went, "Is this all yours?" And I was like, yeah, it is. "Where'd you get the containers from? Where'd you get this?" And I was like, "You sound like me. Why are you asking me so many questions?" I was like, "Are you HMRC or something? What's going on here?" And he went and picked this furniture up, didn't really think any more of it. And on the way back out, he came in and he went, "Here's my card. If you ever need me to do any delivery work." And I sat there for like 10 minutes, rung him up and went, "I've got a removal for you tomorrow." That was 10 years ago. He's worked for me every day since. You invest in people.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
And to find him, I went through probably 150 people.
But also what you find in fishing is quite unique on a global scale, is it's an incredibly small world. I mean, I know it's a big world out there. I know everyone says that, but when you work in fishing for as long as I have, or Danny, I've worked in fishing for a long time now, and you know everyone or someone, people outside fishing don't realise how small the world is, and if you do it wrong, if you behave badly, you behave badly.
Mud sticks.
It has a knock-on effect, and
because it is everybody knows everybody, or they are. Was it 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? That kind of, everyone is connected. I'll go to the Big One show. I will meet new people in the industry. But they will know someone I know, and he or she, it's incredibly, that person moves to that company, and you are ethical, you're polite, you're nice, because that's what human beings should be. It's an incredibly connected industry. It's a great industry to work in. You're never gonna die wealthy. Well, not doing what I'm doing anyway. But it's really cool thing to work in. Once you become part of it, you realise it isn't about big fish. It's not about hero this. It's just when you work within fishing, you realise that it's just meaningless. It is about the people, the places, the connections, the experiences.
Well, we said that online. I think I thanked you on the last episode. I mean, go back to one of my teens. It was you that got me in the trade door. And if it wasn't for you talking to Nick Roberts about doing some testing, I wouldn't have been picked up by Savage Gear, Shimano, Costa, the Fly Scene.
Yeah, but
because
I'm not. I was a sport. I was incredibly competitive when I was younger. I'm not remotely competitive in my fishing. If I go fishing with you tomorrow and you land a 12-pound bass and I land one this big, and I'm not talking out of my arse here, I genuinely am thrilled for you. I don't feel jealous.
My gurnard was way bigger than yours at that time. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not sure it was, actually. But no, I
comparing gurnard.
I'm not competitive in my work either. I know there's plenty of room for people doing what I do. But God, come along and do what I do. Do it better. Take work away from me, because it means I'm not doing it well enough. I'm not going to hand you what I do. I'm not. I know how to take pictures. I know how to write. I know how to deliver. I know how to do this, that, whatever. Help design rods and reels and lures and stuff. I think I do.
That's super niche. Photography is a hobby within itself within fishing.
Yeah.
I was talking to you the other day about it, how photography is just. I remember, you're in this hobby which is all consuming anyway, and then you want to throw a whole nother separate hobby and rock the two of them in together.
You've always said you can't fish and shoot, or shoot and fish. It's hard, isn't it, to do both well? You can't do it.
Yeah, I do with bass fishing. I tend to try and mix them up because I'm what I'm doing on my own time. I'm out fishing, but I pull away to take pictures because I can't help it. I just love it. Away on jobs, when I used to go away on jobs a lot, like 3-4 months of the year, travel around the world, shooting pictures or whatever, I would take photographs. I mean, the countless places I've been in the world, I've never even picked up a rod because it wasn't right. I was there working. I didn't feel right to try and catch fish, rightly or wrongly. So fishing is cool. Fishing is a good industry.
Yes, yeah.
There's good people.
I love fishing.
Yeah. It's amazing. You just do meet really. I met the nicest guy at the Big One show last year, and then I actually ended up doing some work for them, a little bit of work for them. But they're just really cool people. They do what they do. Fascinating. I get to ask some questions. I get to learn of one of the guys specifically. I learn a huge amount, and that's how I think you better yourself. You move yourself forward. I can't sit still. I can sit still, but I can't. I'm 52, as I said, nearly, but I'm not dead yet. As she says, I want to keep. I hope that this time next year I'll be a better angler.
But 50's the new 30, isn't it?
I feel young. I mean, when I'm running 50. Like a crippled giraffe, it's like, yeah, man. This is no. But I do. I hope that this time next year I'm a better angler than what I am now. I'm all right. I fish with far better anglers than me. And I think that's probably one of my skills. I don't have many skills, perhaps, but one of my skills is recognizing genuinely good anglers, and know what makes them tick. You know, I've never had ever had a problem admitting or knowing deep down when an angler is, you know, some anglers are just naturally very good. I'm all right, but I fish with people who are much better than me, which is great. I like doing that. I get to fish with very good anglers here, there, all around the world. Brilliant. Don't have a problem with that, so I'm not competitive. Some people do have a problem with that, and I think it messes up their fishing, personally.
I do exactly the same thing in business and in fishing. So in business, I know what my skill set is.
Yeah.
I can't do everything, so I surround myself with
people who know.
specialised in what they want to
Yeah.
do. And in fishing, we're in the WhatsApp group of the boys here. I'm probably the weakest angler in there. A, because I'm new to sea fishing.
Yeah.
But we were out on the wrecks the other day, pollocking. I'm trying to line myself up on this wreck, and Dom just goes, Bo wants to be here for this drift.
It's nice,
and
frightening.
it just puts this dot on my screen, and I just went, and I'm only like the other side of that dot when I'm drifting, but I'm missing this. He goes, you want to be there? Dave Mordecai, prime example. I surround Dave's like my security blanket. I've taken him, like when we went marlin fishing in Portugal, he's chin weighting these fish and doing this and doing that. He can turn his hand to everything. Jack, Tim, Simon, all of them are better anglers than me, and I'm perfectly happy being around them.
Yeah.
I just take it all in all the
Just
time.
sponging, isn't it? It's a sponge, and it's
I don't mind, you know.
No, I'm a sponge.
But they're super. They're not those sorts of guys that they're better anglers, but they're like, why are you doing that? Don't do that. Don't do that. You know, they're very supportive. They're happy just to tell you all these different things.
Yeah.
When I bought my ripple fisher in bits, Tim come around the house, he's like, right, we're going to do this, you know, let's do this to start. Because he spent the whole year out there spinning for them. First thing I did, instead of just wing it, Tim, can you come and help me with this, please, mate? I'm perfectly happy to ask for help. But yeah, like you said, that's the way you move and you grow and move forward.
But what I have, you know, I'm going to, the creature bait, the whole thing, creature bait with bass fishing is a classic example. You know, I'm going to.
It's like the Z-Men thing.
No, mega bassings is what we're using.
I'm going to.
Same principle, same principle.
Yeah, but I'm going to, because I enjoy communicating about fishing, I enjoy writing, enjoy photography, I enjoy trying to, I suppose, enthuse anglers, I don't know what you want to call it. I'm going to communicate that information out. So if people don't like it, they don't have to talk to me. You know, if I talk to you, well, I'm trying to learn, I want to become a better angler, but I love communicating about it. I get to fish with these lads who are, you know, I'm sort of getting into this creature bait thing because I think it might solve I see lure fishing as problem solving, rightly or wrongly. You know, I do see it as you're faced with certain problems and you've got to solve it, whether it's current, wind, depth, rock, lure.
What it's eating, why it's eating it.
Why, where, when, that kind of thing. So I'm learning from guys who've been doing it longer than me, which is brilliant. You know, they're very generous with information. Mark Cowling, you guys. But I'm going to communicate that information out. And I understand if they didn't want me to, then we wouldn't communicate, I guess. But I just enjoy. I'm not communicating out for any other reason than I enjoy doing it, and I would hope that other anglers do it to me. I always remember this. I could find the email. There's this bloke. I hope I haven't told the story in the last podcast. Quite a few years ago, you know, really getting into soft plastics. You know, I don't come from freshwater lure fishing, so all this stuff is new to me. You know, I don't know anything about it. I hadn't seen a jig head until I was probably 35. What's that? But this bloke, I always remember, messaged me and said, Henry, we're catching loads of bass at an area you go in Ireland on this specific lure. It's really good, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And I emailed back and said, what's the point? Yeah, I wasn't rude. It was, you know, you catch loads of basses all around Dungarvan Bay, which I know pretty well. Done very well around there. Blah, 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 blah. The specific lure, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And I just thought, you twat. I've still got the email. I could probably go and find the email. I just thought, what's the point? Just don't email me. Either tell me, because I want to use the lure, or just don't email me. But why? It's just
people communicating. It pushes the industry forward.
Of course.
That's why, you know, I get marks. Okay, you want to share your mark. You put the groundwork in. You don't want to share.
But also, it's because we live on a crowded island. You know, we all value fishing quiet spots. So we have to be secretive about where we fish, with commercial pressure, with other angling pressure. You know, I'd love to say, I caught that bass yesterday, half tied back on that rock. Here's the what 3 words, go and fish it. But I want to go and fish it the next day.
And there'll be 8 people down there all.
Yeah. So that location is.
I think you should.
That's always a grey area. That's the impossible one.
Well, put your legwork in and go and walk those miles and go casting around.
And also
it'll make you a better angler doing that anyway.
The only thing that really saves our bass fishing, well, not the only thing, but one that I think saves some of our bass fishing, let's say, is the fact that most people are lazy. Yeah. They will not walk.
No,
they won't. You know, if it is another 2 miles around that headland, they're not doing it. Now, the mark may be no better than somewhere else, but you know it's going to be quiet. You know, I love fishing with mates. I don't really want to go bass fishing with 10 other people. It's not bass fishing. And then everyone's trying to out.
That's why I stopped carp fishing.
Everyone's trying to compete. They're all trying to cast further.
I like going into Europe with my mates.
Yeah,
that was absolutely sound. But a busy, crowded lake here, everyone's sticking their head round your brolly. Right, mate, you seen anything? Oh, you using a pink pop up?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard they like tigers or whatever it is in here.
If you're using something, invariably something else is better.
Yeah, who are you?
What you're using is wrong.
I didn't realise we'd met. Not hello, mate. How are you doing today?
Yeah.
Nice weather.
Yeah.
Then ask me what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's why I ended up coming across and getting onto boats and going out because it's peaceful out there.
Yeah, fishing is peaceful. I mean, what?
That's Wednesday. There was me and 2 mates on that boat. So no other boats all day on any of the wrecks.
Yeah.
Cold beers, loads of fish. Perfect.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what
no
fishing
phone
should...
signal.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
If the missus really needs me, she can radio me on channel 16 if she can work that one out.
Yeah,
it's bliss. Cool. It's bliss.
Well, mate, I mean, it's been a pleasure as always.
Sorry, I've yapped on for Great Britain. Apologies.
No, I've super enjoyed it.
No, thanks for having me, guys. Seriously.
No.
Look, I love it. I like talking with anglers. I like talking about fishing. You know, there's no great shakes. I love it. Sorry, but I've ranted a little bit.
No, but that's what it's all about.
No, I do.
You're passionate, and it's very obvious.
Yeah, I hope I'm quite level-headed online because you possibly have to be, but I do have some things I feel very strongly about. I tend to sort of, not shout about too much because it can get a bit ranty, but that's the way it is.
It's the way it is. It's fine, mate. I think it comes from a place of experience, though. It's not just having a rant blindly about something that you possibly think could be a thing. It comes from being out there and doing it and having a base to be able to put that rant against.
Yeah, and also I do have a slight fear of.
And I wouldn't call it a rant. Maybe
I don't want to come across as arrogant.
No, you don't, mate.
No, but it's because I know that I'm lucky through work to have experienced what I've experienced. I wouldn't have gone to all these weird places and saw all this amazing fishing if it wasn't for working in fishing. I have to earn money out of it, obviously. But that forces you to learn. If I didn't learn from these things, what's the point of doing it? Sure, I've got to take photographs or whatever and sell the photographs, but I've got to learn as well. So it forces you to look at your own fishing and learn things and then question barbless hooks or fighting fish or waders or whatever it may be. It's only my opinions. I'm not right.
Everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Yeah, I'm no more right or no more wrong than someone else. But
you're allowed to opinion, and if that opinion offends somebody, you're still entitled to it.
Yeah, but if someone can prove me, for example, me that barbless hooks don't work, I'm open to it. But no one has yet.
Yeah. Bring me some data to show me.
No one has yet.
To show me
so and no one can tell me that fighting bass hard is the wrong thing to do. No. So I'm going to keep doing it. And ranting about it.
So right, you're at the Big One show. What day are you up there? Saturday or Sunday?
Both.
You're both there for both days?
Yeah.
Are you just milling around saying hello?
I'm there obviously with Savage Gear, Penn. We're doing some stuff there. I think I'm doing a demo and some tanks. Is that right?
I have heard that.
Yeah, I've heard a rumour as well.
Will this be out in time for the Big One?
Yeah, it will be, yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
Big One, then Glasgow Angling Centre, which I love it up there. Then a show in Ireland, and then I'll do all my guiding work, go fishing as much as I can.
Awesome.
And take photographs.
Well, hopefully we're going to see you there because we've got some stuff planned for that, like we were talking about. We just need Shimano to give us the nod.
Can I give something the gears on the simulator?
Yeah.
Can I get broken?
Yeah, it'd be really good because you're on the pen stand and we're going to have all the Shimano gear there, so it works really well.
And just stick it.
Awesome, mate.
So to trick the simulator, all we do is point the rod at it and wind really hard. That's all you got to do. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Nice one, guys. Thanks for having me, okay?
No, mate. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Never a pleasure. Yeah, exactly right. So we will see you on the next podcast, which may be with the man in the corner who you probably heard coughing and snotting halfway through it.
Bless him,
Yeah. Well, I noticed recently that
he's had a hurty.
He's had a hurty. It's because he's soft. He's from Plymouth.
He had a hurty in his finger. Very serious.
I noticed that he changed his Instagram recently and called himself an influencer. So I thought, right, that's
as my girls say, Dad, are you an influencer? No, influencer.
So now that he's an influencer, that's going to entitle him to come on the podcast. So we're going to get him on the podcast and get him talking about his fishing next as well.
Right. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe. Give us a share. Give us a comment. Whether it's good, bad, we're nice to engage.
You don't have to if you don't want to, but it'd be nice if you did.
Nice. Yeah. So, anyway, that's it.
Cheers,
Henry,
guys.
thanks
Thank you.
again. Always a pleasure.
See you in the next one.
See you again. Cheers guys.